College Match Day is indeed back for an early season marquee matchup from the USTA Southern Jewel, the national campus in Lake Nona, Florida. It's a Sunshine State showdown for bragging rights between two schools with a long-standing and storied rivalry. Hello, tennis fan, and welcome to the outskirts of Orlando, Florida on this beautiful day. It's early in the spring season. We're happy that you have chosen to join us here at Lake Nona. Kevin Skinner alongside two-time All-American at Georgia Tech, Irina Falcone. It is the Gators versus the Seminoles. What more could you want, Irina, in a contest of this magnitude? Both top 20 schools now. Let's talk about the Seminoles first. Florida State, historically, on the short end against the Gators in their historic rivalry. But this year, they come to town with a lot of confidence.
They've started off with that 5-1 record. Definitely have the momentum going their way for tonight's match. And the head coach, Dwayne, he's just done such a remarkable job with assembling a team of talented players that love to compete. And one of my favorite things about tonight's match, it's a neutral site. You're going to get a lot of excitement, a lot of noise, a lot of fans, and it's bound to be a phenomenal view as to what is college tennis and what it's all about. And
Seminole tennis has a very international flavor. We'll talk more about that as the day unfolds. Meanwhile, on the other side of the net, the University of Florida, the last couple years have been absolutely remarkable for Coach Brian Shelton. This year was supposed to be a rebuilding season, and yet they're off to a fantastic start.
And remarkably so, he's doing so with no returning starters. He's never experienced that before in his 20-plus years of being a collegiate coach. And with coaching a young team, you're bound to face some challenges. But Coach Shelton has expressed very confidently that they're up for the task.
He says they are a team of youthful exuberance, and nothing he likes more than the idea they come out enthusiastic and ready to play. So Brian Shelton, he will take on the Florida State Seminoles and hope that he can continue to hold sway over the team from Tallahassee as the Gators have done the last couple of years. The head-to-head is skewed for Florida, but take note of this. This is a neutral site match here at Lake Nona, and historically the Seminoles have played very well, winning 2 out of 5 matches, so perhaps that bodes well for Florida State. Here is the overall look at their hitting. You can see it is skewed towards Florida, who has won 6 meetings in a row coming in today's contest. So we'll see if Florida State, who is actually ranked higher than Florida for the first time in a long time, maybe unthinkable as to that positioning, they are the hunted when they're used to being the hunters, and the Gators are in the opposite position in this 86th meeting. Let's talk about the format. Tennis fan, if you're not familiar with it, well, shame on you, you should be, but you know what? We're going to help you out with this because it is a unique format in the sense that there is a lot of tennis going on all at the same time. It begins with doubles play, and on 3 courts simultaneously, there will be 3 matches. Now, this is set up, Irina, you and I were able to get out there and take on each other as well as ourselves, if you can figure that out, on those 3 courts. And the school that comes away with 2 sets in their individual matches will take an early point. Then, 6 consecutive matches going on at the same time across the grounds to decide best of 7 format, got to win 4 points.
That's 6 of me right there. That's unbelievable.
Hey, listen, you're getting ready to get back out on tour. A former WTA pro and with a title to your credit. You're thinking about playing at Wimbledon. You look good out there. I'm just sorry about the opposition.
It was a lot of fun. You know, I need to get a little bit practice before Wimbledon. It's kind of a big deal, Wimbledon, I've heard. It's a special place.
It is indeed. And it's fitting that it's called College Match Day because you schooled me while we were out there. Here's the weather for the day that is absolutely fantastic in all facets, but there is one notable caveat. Irina, it is very windy.
The breeze, you will see a lot of movement on the flags, the trees. We'll have to keep an eye on it tonight, Kevin.
Yeah, it will definitely wreak havoc, especially in singles. You get the sense sort of that doubles maybe not as much, but then again, if it continues to be as blustery as it is here, things can get out of hand in both disciplines. So we will keep you abreast of that as the day goes. Why wait any longer? Let's get to some tennis already underway. And we have some action over on court number 2. And this features the Gators tandem of Tanapat Nirandorn and his partner Togan. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. It's playing on court 2, but this is the doubles 1 match. Forgive me for that. This is the duo from Florida of Will Grant and Axel Nev, and the Gators currently in the position of serving. That is Grant getting it done to get the hold. It is Cornu, Chauvin, and Smith from Florida State who are representing as the 1 team in doubles for the Seminoles. What should we look for here as far as strategy, as far as things that they're going to try to produce from both teams?
I think you can already hear it. The biggest thing tonight, I think, it's going to be who can compete the best in those crucial moments. That doubles point is so important because you want to go into the singles with that point in your pocket. And I think early on, both teams are going to want to test the net player. You want to see a lot of movement and see how they deal with the tossing, with the serve, with the breezy conditions tonight.
Chance now for Florida State to put the ball in play. And first chance to take a peek at Antoine Cornushavin, the 6'2" Frenchman, a junior at Florida State. For this duo of Cornushavin and Barnaby Smith, his 6'2" partner, senior from High Wycombe, Great Britain. This is their 5th match together this season already early in the spring, but they've had a difficult road. They've only picked up 1 win in 4 matches. Would love the opportunity to turn that around against the Gators today. Will Grant, the 6'2" junior from Boca Raton, Florida. And his partner will be back to receive serve, Axel Nev, a graduate student. Standing 6'4", the lefty watches that sail past as Cornushavin gets the ace.
Probably the harder serve to hit on that deuce side with the lefty. You typically see that big lefty on the ad side, but that was very well disguised there by Nev.
Come on.
40-15 for the Seminoles, and it will be Grant back to receive serve. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Moved over, and it'll be Nev who will take the ball from Cornushavin. Courts 2, 3, and 4 here at the Collegiate Center in action for these doubles contests, all 3 underway, each with a game notched on the board. And a big return from Nev. He fires it just mid-knee on Cornushavin. And good effort to help out his teammate Barnaby Smith, getting the job done to finish off Cornushavin's opening service game, and it's 1-all.
Now it's just great placement there by Smith, making it super difficult there for the Gator to come up with something good.
On doubles 2, the score even at 1 apiece between Slagi and Deuce Carpenschiff of Florida State taking on Nierendorn and Tokach. My picking on that a little bit, and it's 1-love in favor of FSU over on court number 4 in the early goings. Now again, it's just 1 set to be played here, Irina. This is so important because on 2 of these 3 courts, one of the schools is going to walk away with the early point.
Yeah, it's amazing just how quickly it can turn around, and a set goes by very quick. And I'm showing my age here a little bit. When I was playing, it was an 8-game pro set, so some things have changed since then.
You don't look a day out of Georgia Tech.
I'll take that.
And are starting to see why this duo has been in this one position each and every match thus far early in the spring season, because they complement each other so well. Nev, the big power, Grant knows where to be at the right time.
And just look at where that placement is by Nev there. It goes middle, really allows for Grant to take over that next ball.
Nev, the big serving lefty who was at Notre Dame through his undergraduate years and has now made the trip to Gainesville to represent for the Gators as a graduate student. Brings a massive game. And just a little too big. And Nev gets his hold for 2-1. So a good start in doubles one for each team. Everybody holding to get going, as 3 games on the board does favor Florida with the additional service game. Things getting pretty vocal across the grounds, expecting a tremendous turnout today because obviously this is a neutral site in Orlando. But Tallahassee, 4 hours away, Gainesville, 2 hours away, there's a lot of support for both schools in this area.
That is one thing that Coach Dwayne actually mentioned. He said, I'm pretty sure there's going to be more fans in this match instead of our home matches in Tallahassee.
And the finish over on it's court number 3, doubles 2, Nirandorn and Tokach, trying to give Florida a 2-1 advantage there as well. As they put themselves in position, it's Pourroy and Bolte of FSU taking on Greif and Broswell in the last doubles 3 match. Taking a peek in on doubles 2 now. In the near ground, Florida State. Szilagyi and Deuce Karpenschiff. And there's the hold for Tokach, the most spirited player according to Coach Brian Shelton on the team. He's trying to give everybody a lift as Florida now enjoys a 2-1 lead on the doubles 1 and doubles 2 courts.
That was my favorite things when I did play college tennis, was just hearing my other teammates. It just helped me so much more, made me want to compete so much harder, knowing that it was not just me that I was playing for out there.
Coach Brian Sheldon has had absolutely astounding success of late. Not only a national championship for his team 2 years ago, but just on Saturday against Mississippi State, he notched his 200th career win. That puts him 3rd on the list all-time at the University of Florida. And as you know, having played for him at Georgia Tech, he also amassed 200 victories there in the women's tennis discipline. I mean, it just translates so well, his message.
And the one thing that makes him such a phenomenal coach, I think, is he's so humble. Even when we were talking about him yesterday, congratulating him on his feat, all he could say is, it's more about the team. The team did it, everyone, there's so many people to thank. Never gave himself credit, which just speaks volumes of him.
Yeah, he's, as you say, humble is the right word, just pretty easygoing guy too. Said I'm usually pretty stoic, but you know the thing I love about this year's team? He said that exuberance, it's making him kind of come out of his shell a little bit. He's as enthusiastic as they are. There's Tokach, the man from Istanbul, Turkey. Togan stands 6'4". Shelton likes what he's seen so far from these two, as they've shown grit that belies their inexperience at the collegiate level. Why are they inexperienced? They're both freshmen.
Oh. It's great hands there by Nirandorn to actually get that ball back from Szilagyi.
So Florida State finally ekes out a lead on one of the courts over on court 4 in doubles 3. They have moved ahead 2-1. Florida enjoying that exact same score on the doubles 1 and doubles 2 courts. Chance to get a peek now at this. Two of the best Seminole performance of doubles players thus far this season have been Szilagyi and Deuce Karpenschiff. They have a winning record overall in the year of 5-4, 2-3 though in dual match play, so they're looking to get even at the 500 mark. As some words from Brian Shelton to try to lift Nirandorn and Tokach, get them back in this game, although it's going to be a pretty tough slog as point away from a perfect love hold. And it is unblemished to get to 2-all on court 3. So a couple of sophomores. Deuce Karpenschiff, a sophomore from Lyon, France, stands at 5'11", and his partner, Max Szilagyi, a redshirt sophomore from much closer, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. We talked about the international flavor of Florida State. Don't short University of Florida either. Here is Thanapat Nirandorn, 5'8", from Bangkok, Thailand. And target Tokach, and the finish Good effort there by the Frenchman, Deuce Carpenschiff.
Silligate doing just such a good job with really aiming for that middle target. Nobody home there on the Gator team.
These are two of the most spirited on the team. We talked about Tokac. Brian Shelton had said, of all my guys, this freshman from Turkey is really the spark plug for our group. But Nierendorn actually adds an extra bit of flavor too.
That's not something that you see on the ATP or WTA Tour where you're giving a high five to your coach after a point, and that's what makes college tennis just so much fun to watch.
Florida's amassed a 3-1 lead on court 2 and doubles 1. It's 2-all on court 4 as Nierendorn tries to push the Gators ahead in doubles 2 to a 3-2 lead, and he's up 30-15.
Nierendorn doing just such a great job with getting 2 first serves back to back. You just want to keep applying pressure to your opponent, really aiming body on the serve, especially with those windy conditions. Yep.
Nierendorn just doing well to pick his spots and get himself in a position now to serve once again for the Gators to claim the lead on court 3 and doubles 2. Meanwhile, over on court 2, doubles 1, that Florida tandem, they are mighty. Nev and Grant, they have marched to a 4-1 lead in the blink of an eye as they try to pick up one set and give Florida a half chance towards taking this doubles point. And there it is, Nierendorn gets the job done. So the Gators on court 3, doubles 2, find themselves ahead 3-2. Looking to seize the momentum there and pick something up from court 2 where that aforementioned 4-1 lead for Florida stands. And on court number 4 in doubles 3, it's all notched up dead even at 2 apiece. There's the man at the helm in his 24th season at Florida State as a head coach. He's got the longest tenure of any coach currently in Tallahassee, and he's right up there in the midst with the legends of football and Bobby Bowden, who was 3 decades plus, as well as baseball coach Mike Martin, also 3+ decades. And he's really proud of the culture and the legacy that he has left already. And he says, I'm not interested in giving up this position anytime soon. And this year, he has a fantastic team to help him, maybe with the best result. He's got his eyes on the prize later in the season. Meanwhile, over on court number 4, this is doubles 3. We talked about how Florida and Florida State, this could be the deciding court when it all comes down to it as they push nip and tuck. Court 2 seems overwhelmingly in favor of Florida, so let's take a look at Pourroy and Bolte of Florida State. They're in the near court. At the far end, Greif and Broswell.
That's such a tough shot to lob. Knowing these windy conditions, you almost have to really just take care of your margin there. And you can see a young fan.
Hey, that's early influence. I mean, let the guy pick for himself, right? Or maybe he already has. But a lot of Florida State fans, of course, they had to make the longer haul for the people coming from Tallahassee, twice the distance to get here in Orlando. Serving now is Broswell of Florida.
Oof. Pourroy had the shot he wanted, was aiming for that middle target, but it's just when you just have to give yourself a little bit more shape, knowing that you're so close to the net.
Frenchman a little too anxious because the break point was there. They'll have another to work with against Broswell, but goodness. Here's the 6-foot redhead from Sarasota, Florida. Jonah Broswell trying to protect and save another break point. Not this time, as FSU moves out in front 3-2 in doubles 3 over on court 4. So a sturdy effort from Bolte and Pourroy. As once again, the doubles 1 contest. You know, for Florida, through 4 spring matches, it's been pretty easy and pretty steady for Coach Brian Shelton to set things up. Making the lineups has been as easy as 1, 2, 3, because his 1, 2, and 3 teams have all been the same, identical, every single contest. And Cornushavin trying to give his team a bit of lift here to get back in, down a break, trying to at least close the gap.
That's when you have to just continue telling your partner, it's just a couple breaks, it's just a couple of points here and there. There are a couple of deuce points that can really change momentum around.
And a good effort from another Frenchman from Lyon, as Antoine Cornushavin gets the hold and cuts the lead to 4-2. Axel Neve, the big recruit, again, as mentioned, played his undergrad years at Notre Dame, 4 years there, is able to get an extension on his eligibility due to COVID. And trying to serve to get to 5-2.
Cornushavin was all over that drop volley, saw the moment that Neve's racket was kind of open-faced and he knew it was going to be a short ball. Did such a good job with getting up to that ball.
Barnaby Smith, just that corkscrew of the left-handed serve of Neve, just taking him out wide. He was outside of our shot, and he couldn't find a way to put the ball in play. Meanwhile, Nurendorn and Tokach of Florida have also extended their lead on court 3 in doubles 2 action to 4-2. The lone bright spot right now for the Seminoles is they're hanging in over on court 4. Doubles 3, they have that slim 3-2 lead we showed you moments ago. Yeah, Neve has been such a magnificent addition to the Gators for Brian Shelton and this University of Florida team, because he not only has that big serve, standing at 6'4", not only being left-handed, but he is an intense competitor. And despite being a newbie on campus in Gainesville, he has brought a lot of energy. Serving with Barnaby Smith, back to receive serve once again. We're getting very close to a big roar from the Gator fans if Tokach, serving at 30-love 4-2 on court 3 in doubles 2, can push his tandem to a 5-2 lead. And Smith just pressing just a bit too much, forces that in the net, and Neve a point away.
That was just such a great serve and volley there by Neve, making sure that he stuck the volley so beautifully right to Smith's feet.
You had a lot of reactions like that when you were playing for the Ramblin' Wreck, right?
Oh, absolutely.
All fired up was Irina Falcone in her day. Much more placid now, thankfully. Yeah, that's it. Good teamwork. Neve gets it done. 5-2 in favor of Florida on court number 2. The doubles 1 team that had been so stellar in that position, and they played in that position all spring long. Granted, this is just the 5th match for the Gators thus far, but what a great effort. Meanwhile, shifting over to court 3, doubles 2. Here's Tokach trying to get things done, and he'll put the overhead away. He himself a point away from holding for 5-2 in favor of Florida.
That was one of the things Coach Shelton talked about. Tokach, he's just so exuberant. I know that we've said that a couple times, but look at this reaction actually pointing at Coach Shelton. You can see the excitement.
Well, Well, you can speak to this, can't you? You played for him at Georgia Tech during your time. He's a guy you want to play and you want to perform for. You want to do the right things and produce results.
That's exactly right. Every single time you went out in the court, it was almost like you knew how much it meant to him, and you were just, I have to do this for him and the team. It was amazing. I loved my experience at Tech.
Toe catch with a second serve here. Togan going to look to go big nonetheless, as he's got 40-15 for 5-2. Oh, and double faults, so he'll have to reset. FSU hanging on to their one lead, just the slim hopes on court 4 and doubles 3, a point away from 5-2 themselves, but it's going to take their teammates on the other courts, court 2 and 3, to find a way back in. Because right now Florida's in great position to grab the 2 early sets in doubles and steal the first point necessary of the 4 to win this match. Oh, Nairndorn, the miss hit on the first effort, and then he puts it back into the net. And toe catch with work still left to be done.
Deuce Carpenshift doing just such a good job with aiming for that high backhand volleying of Nairndorn. Just broke the wrist a little bit on that backhand finish.
And that's long. And Tokac gets the hold, 5-2 on court 3. And meanwhile, things wrapping up on court 2 if the Gators have their say, as they just had a love 15 advantage against Barnaby Smith serving for Florida State as he tries to hang on. Here is a peek in on court 2. This is doubles 1. And this is where Florida is hoping that this top duo, their one team, can steal this early set, take it and be done. Actually, court 3 is done. Florida has wrapped it up. They've taken the first set. I think it's still 5-2. Sorry, the scoreboard was changed. I thought for a second there, Irina. Thanks for keeping me calm there. Yeah, the scoreboard did say 6-2 for a moment, but they have changed the score and put it at the correct 5-2 lead in favor of the Gators. So one game left there, and one game right here on this court left for Florida to try to wrap things up. So 5-2 in favor of Florida on court 4. That's the doubles 3. 5-2 in favor of Florida on the other 2 courts, a game away. And here on court number 2, it's Barnaby Smith. He's got to put up or pack up and get ready for singles if he doesn't produce here. Good return from Will Grant as he gets it in short, as the charging Smith cannot come up with the handle, and Florida 2 points from taking this opening set on court 2. Kornu-Chauvin comes back to kind of settle the nerve, at least attempt to settle the nerve of Barnaby Smith. Nev back to receive for the Gators. Oh, and that was questionable. Irina, did that look like that was going long?
It was going long, but I just don't think that the reaction was fast enough. And maybe he tried to get his racket out of the way, but Grant just maybe hit that a little too hard. I think he knows he got a little lucky there.
He'll take it. Sometimes you need luck to be good. So Smith, who was in a world of hurt here early as he dropped the opening point, has started to settle. Looking for 5-3. Grant back to receive. Good soft touch. We talked so much about the power of the big game of Kornu-Chauvin. That was all feel on that little short stab volley, and helps his partner to get to 5-3. And now things to get a little more interesting in doubles 2 on court 3. Silagi serving at 30-15, trying to close the gap for Florida State to identical score. As we take a look now at Will Grant. Serving for the Gators, comes from Boca Raton, Florida. Well left.
That's when you would say that was a good eye right there. That was probably a little too close for comfort because my coach always told me, if it's close, just play it.
Sure.
Just play it.
Sure, when the reactions have to be that quick. Well, that was well left by Grant. And this is the beauty of college tennis too, isn't it? Just the idea of things moving so quickly. Florida State with a 5-2 lead in doubles 3. Florida with a 5-2 lead in doubles 2.
And talk about quick. Look at Nev, how quickly he was able to get out of that I formation to really bunt that off the court.
Oh, and that's just too easy. ACC is going to rue that shot because it sets up set point. And a way for Will Grant to make an emphatic love hold to stamp this set in favor of Florida. FSU with a hold on court 3 in doubles 2 to close ever so slightly that little gap to 5-3. And there it is, done. What an effort. Will Grant just stepping up mightily to finish off the opening set. That's it, that's done. That's one of the 2 matches necessary for Florida to take the doubles point. Let's quickly get over to court number 4. Florida State with a chance to make it 1 set apiece. Serve long, and it'll go to a deciding point.
And that's one of the rules in college that is a little bit different from the tour. You do have to call your own lines, and there's maybe a little bit of question there, but you do have an umpire to kind of solidify that call.
Salagi will charge up to the net. Excuse me, Pourroy puts it, oh, that was close.
That was overturned.
Overturned from the chair. And this is the Seminoles. I can't believe it. They had a chance to make it 1 set apiece, but it's not to be. And meanwhile, on court number 4, it's 5-3. But on court number 3, it is Florida leading 5-3 and 2 points away from giving Florida the doubles point. So on court number 3 and doubles 2, it could all end within the next couple of seconds. Nierendern putting the ball in play. That just skips right past.
The tough part about this, Kevin, is also both of these teams want to finish first because that helps your ranking. You want to finish first for the, the team win, but also you want to make sure that you're accruing those wins for your own record.
Oh, what an effort. Backpedaling for the overhead. A bold move from Tanapat Nierendorn to give Florida a chance to take this doubles point right here, right now. Set point as the native from Bangkok, Thailand, looks to wrap it up and finish the doubles competition. And that's it. The University of Florida wraps up doubles with victories on court 2 and 3 in doubles 1 and 2. As the Thai Turkish Express is the one that gets it done on court number 3. Nierendorn, toe catch, falling on the heels of Nev and Grant getting it done, and that is it. Doubles in the books, and Florida sitting pretty with the opening point.
This is the kind of momentum that you want to take going into singles. Hey, I have a point in the books. Let's just use that and go into this knowing that you already have one to work with.
Yeah, it really gives a sizable advantage in so many ways. Emotionally, obviously you want the point now. You only need to win 3 of the 6 singles matches to get yourself in position for victory. But hey, what a great position to be in for the University of Florida after taking doubles. And they got it done with their top two teams. It has been 1, 2, and 3 for Florida all season long in the spring. Granted, it's early, but early still counts, and Florida is able to take things to 1-0 on the scoreboard. Well, it is a delightful atmosphere here on the outskirts of Orlando. You can't ask for a better place to play tennis than the USTA National Campus. You see a lot of the collegiate action here at the Collegiate Center. There are a lot of players in U.S. development that practice here, spend their time in Central Florida. And every once in a while, we get a special guest who just comes on in, wanders by. We knew that the University of Florida was going to bring their talents here. We didn't know they were going to bring all of their talent, both present and past. But it wasn't too long ago that the gentleman who will join us now was a star for the University of Florida Gators. In fact, he was the player of the year not long ago. We're talking about Ben Shelton. Ben, thanks for being here with us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Happy to be here at College Game Day and College Match Day and support my Gators.
Already learning to make those adjustments on the fly. You've done well. So let me ask you something, Ben, just on a serious note. How's your 2023 going?
So far, so good. I got no complaints.
You managed to get on a plane and leave the United States for the first time ever. In your second major, you made a big splash. Last 8 in Melbourne.
Yeah, it was really cool to be able to do that in Australia. My first time out of the country. Unbelievable tournament and a great experience.
You're a standout here at the University of Florida. And Irina, you know, you've been around it. You also work out and play here, so you've seen Ben, but you've also seen him since he was about knee-high to a grasshopper.
Exactly. I've known you for quite a bit, and it's been unbelievable to watch you progress and watch you play in these big events. And, oh my gosh, quarterfinals of a slam. Could not be prouder. What would you say that you can take away from your college experience? It's been helping you so much on the tour.
Yeah, I think it's really cool in college. You get a chance to play for something bigger than yourself. Put your own needs behind the needs of others, and really improve as a person and a player with great practice partners and great coaches. The resources are unbelievable, and you were actually the first player I saw made the transition from college to pro. So that was another cool thing, being the son of a college coach, to be able to see tennis players do stuff like that.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's not common to just go out there and be able to perform as well as you have and rise in the rankings as you have. What has been the adjustment? Like, I mean, your life is very different now. All these people are here wanting to take pictures with you. Like, how different is your life now than just a few months ago?
Yeah, it's definitely different. Been a crazy experience. I try to keep myself grounded, and when I'm home, do normal things, be a normal kid, because I still am a college-age kid who's just taking classes. So
right.
To be able to be in Gainesville and see all my friends, other athletes at the university, it gives me some sort of normalcy.
And you just have a couple of classes that you're taking. It's not the regiment that you had while you were at UF.
Right, exactly.
Okay, that's good.
Let's talk a little bit about that decision, because as you came off last year, and an absolutely fantastic year at the University of Florida, there was the thought, do I stay, do I go? Obviously there was maybe some trepidation, but early indicators are you made the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with the decision I made. I don't think either one would have been a poor one. I think that I would have continued to improve if I stayed at the University of Florida, and I think that college is a great option as a transition or pathway to become a pro. And so I'm glad that I made the decision I made, and I was able to have all the experiences that I've had so far these few months on tour. But I definitely don't think I would have had regrets if I went back and played another year with my boys.
Play with your boys and your father. You both have played under Brian Shelton as your coaches at Georgia Tech and at Florida. But, your dad's more than just a coach. He was also a pretty good player. He won a couple of titles at Newport on the ATP Tour. How about this picture of a young man celebrating as he got another win back in the early 90s?
Wow, blast from the past with the Strixon racket.
Seeing some similar patterns, though. There's no doubt that you and your Brian's boy, the way you celebrate, very similar. You seem to have that same exuberance.
I think that he's a little bit quiet, a little bit more quiet and more mellow than I am. I think I bring the energy and excitement on a little higher level than him. But yeah, definitely some similarities.
There is so much to deal with in making the transition. You can both speak to that. But Ben, as far as you've gone, what's been the biggest change that you've noticed? What have you had to deal with and alter your lifestyle or your game now that you've made the transition to the pro ranks?
Yeah, I think I've really realized how important my fitness is. I think that was something that kind of could get away with when I was younger and in college, I didn't have to play 3 out of 5 set matches. Often the matches were at night, and I didn't have to deal with as much heat. But when the rallies get longer and you're playing 5 sets and you're out there for 4 hours, I think that it's really important that you can last and not have to make decisions based on how fit you are. So that's one thing that I've really learned. All the great players on tour, they're fitter than the rest.
One more question about Australia. Another unique tie-in, not only your first time out of the country and then you burst into the last 8, but also your parents met there down under in Australia. There was a specific hotel, I believe the Como Hotel, that is where they met up. Did you get a chance to visit, and how special was it to be there?
I actually didn't get a chance to visit.
Were you busy?
I was a little homesick, and after my last match, I got right out of there. But yeah, they met at the Como Hotel in Australia when my dad and my mom's brother were playing on tour. So really cool to be able to play in the place where they met.
Yeah, a great atmosphere. You know, again, we talk about your dad as a professional, won a couple of titles, ATP level. It was back in the day that he was also facing another American. I think he was #1 in the world, won a couple majors. Jimmy Connors.
might have
there was
heard
a
of him.
contest. Yeah, at the U.S. Open
Yeah,
back in the day. Ben,
lefty?
take a
Yeah,
peek over your
yeah.
shoulder. This is the storied grounds of the USTA National Tennis Center in Flushing Meadows. There it is, Jimbo Connors taking
You guys
on.
are bringing all the old school stuff back today, huh?
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about the return here?
Oh, it's picture perfect. Athleticism too, unbelievable.
He has talked about his backhand being the money shot. We do know that. And just talk about that athleticism.
That's
Look
a
at that rush
ridiculous
to the
kick
net.
serve.
Let's not forget he took the opening set in a tiebreak off of Connors in this match before losing in 4 sets. But he had the tools, he had the game.
Yeah, he did. He did. Definitely passed some things over to me. I wish I had his kick serve. That's one thing I wish I could do as well as him. But yeah, he's helped build me to the player I am today.
What's the biggest takeaway? What would you say of all the time you've spent together talking tennis that you think's had the biggest impact on you?
I think it's a lot more on the mental side than the physical side. Things that keep you engaged, keep you grounded. You don't get too big for any situation, and you continue to be a good person and care about others while you're doing your thing, making a positive impact on kids and people who are watching. So I think that some of the lessons that he gives to me as dad are just as important or even more important than the lessons he gives to me as coach.
Can't forget mom, though, because I do know that she's the one that actually started you
She
with
is.
tennis. She talked to me, actually, about my 15-month-old daughter. She was saying, she's like, I got them started with a tennis racket and some balloons, and that's how I heard that you started playing tennis.
Yeah,
So,
it was my mom. It was
Yeah.
my mom who started me out on the tennis court.
Like father, like son, we spoke with Brian Shelton yesterday about the team and all the credit and people saying to him, oh, what a wonderful job you've done with your son and congrats for Ben. He says, you think I'm good? You should see his mom. So you guys like to pay it forward to those who came there. Real quick, now you're a fan. What do you think of Florida's chances today against FSU?
I mean, I always like Florida's chances no matter who they're playing. I think that it was great to get momentum after the doubles point. That was a big one to win. The #2 team, freshman team, came up really clutch. So I think that it's definitely going to be a dogfight tonight. Florida State's good, very good, and they're always hungry to beat us. So I'm really excited to get rowdy tonight for my boys.
Hey, congratulations on all the success. By the way, we buried the lead. 44 in the world now is Ben Shelton. So a lot to look forward to as the season unfolds. Thanks for being here with us, Ben.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
good luck.
Thanks, Ariel.
Hey, it's time to turn our attention towards the singles discipline. It's already underway. Florida with a 1-love lead in the scoreboard, but let's get to the action currently taking place here at the USTA National Campus here in Lake Nona. Everything's starting to get... So come on, Ben Shelton will get vociferous. We know he'll be cheering for the Gators. He likes their position currently, having taken the doubles point. And one unique setting right now is look at this match day top title bar. Florida State is ranked ahead of Florida. That is an anomaly in the head-to-head between these two schools. That puts some additional pressure on Florida State to try to find a way to end a 6-match losing streak to the Gators. So all 6 courts in action. No score as of yet. Oh, I correct myself. Over on court number 6, it is Florida who has just held for a 1-love lead, so we do have 1 game on the board. That was fun, Irina. It's great to see Ben. It must be unbelievable for you to be able to see a guy you saw as a toddler now performing so majestically on tour.
honestly, it is First of all, it actually cracks me up that I knew him when he was shorter than me, and now he's just towering above me. And to know that he was a toddler just running around like that, and to see the strong man that he's become, and he was talking about his fitness. I did notice that he was in the gym earlier today, getting a lift in. So he has been working on his fitness.
And understandably so, because he's gotten a heavy dose. He knows what it takes at the pro level already, and he's just in the nascent stages. Let's go over to singles number 1 on court number 1. Things are going to settle in now as these are two sturdy stalwarts for their programs as of now, serving for Florida State University, none other than, you can say it, ACC. Oh, you see what we did there? Seminoles play in the ACC. Arnaud Cornu-Chauvin serving to Axel Nev. ACC broke Nev to begin, so he's got himself a 1-love lead. Coach Dwayne Holquist says this is Antoine big game Cornu-Chauvin. He's got a fantastic style. He loves his energy that he brings, and rightfully so. 5-0 thus far in the early season.
That's the kind of momentum that can really give you so much confidence and give your team confidence. I remember when I was at Tech, my girls would actually count my point already, and it made me a little bit nervous, but it just went to show how much confidence they had in me as a teammate.
Let's talk about the change in singles. As you know, all 6 matches taking place simultaneously, but this is now best of 3 set singles play, not like it was in doubles where 1 set takes that court. This is where things settle in. It's much more of a battle of not just the change in needing an extra set, but also that mano-a-mano format.
Well, the one thing that these teams are used to is the heat. And to be honest, that sun is setting, the weather is decreasing a little bit in degrees, and so this is just a beautiful night for college tennis, Kevin.
Yeah, and I will say another thing, just because we have to make mention of it, is the sun does set in the distance, Irina. You're right, that's nice. But also, the wind has abated a bit. It's much less breezy. Know this for 2 reasons, not just because we feel it, but Old Glory, Stars and Stripes, just off to the side here in court number 1, is just hanging sort of limply on the flagpole, not where it was at full extension when the wind was blustery earlier. So does that favor, perhaps on this court 1, one of these 2 players? Is there a way to gauge if it's going to be an advantage?
I think for Cornu-Chauvin, he definitely likes a lot more shape on his shots, and you're not seeing him trying to be very aggressive in terms of hitting flat balls. And so I wouldn't say that really affects them too much right now, especially if it's died down. But if we do see that wind pick up a little bit, it can become a neutralizer for both of these guys.
The Frenchman just a point away from consolidating the break to get to 2-love. Copy. Axel Nev of University of Florida, hoping to get the break back as he gets to siding point. He's the left-hander who hails from Delray Beach, Florida, not far from here.
Nev,
of course,
not surprisingly, he's taking the same side again. This is a deuce point, no ad. Has a break point opportunity here on the Cornu-Chauvin serve. When you win a point previously, you want to just go ahead and capitalize that again.
Oh, and Antoine gets it done. Big serve. Aces his way to 2-love, and a good effort over on court 1 for the Seminole. Well, Dwayne Holtquist has been at the helm for 24 years at Florida State. He's seen a lot. He's amassed a lot of victories. But coming into the 2023 spring season, he says he has high hopes and expectations for the Seminole squad.
I think we have high goals, and ambitions. I think, I think part of the pressure comes from we got a very deep team. I mean, we have 10 guys that we could play, and all of them, high on the ratings, UTR, or lots of them with ATP points. I think almost everyone on our team at some points had pro ranking points.
Yeah, they've gotten off to a terrific start. In fact, began the season at 5-0 with running off terrific wins in Hawaii to start the spring, and beat Cal as well, beat number 7 Georgia, the storied program that is the Bulldogs, got the better of FAU and San Diego before running into Baylor and losing in Waco, Texas. But all in all, I mean, those high hopes and expectations are being met early. The one thing I did wonder, though, Irina, is I wonder now that they're in they haven't been in this position really very often against Florida in the long history. They are the ones that are actually favored on paper to win this match. And the expectations of the year, that can put self-imposed pressure upon you.
I think it can, but the thing is, with a coach like Holtquist, he's been around for such a long time. He knows that a college match can change on a dime. And with Coach Shelton as the UF men's head coach, you know that he's going to be assembling an incredible team of competitors. And so I think Ben Shelton, when he was talking about this matchup earlier, it's going to be a dogfight. And both of these teams are coming out here to play.
Yeah, a couple of breaks of serve on singles 2 on court 2. Will Grant has gotten to a 2-love lead, singles 5. Also, Connell of FSU up a break at 2-love, but everybody else 1 apiece, except for this court here where Nev is trying to get on the board for the first time. Yeah, assembling a team for Brian Shelton to bring in a guy with the quality of Nev. Goodness. But that's sort of the draw when you've had such great success as Florida's had the last couple of years. You attract this level of talent. Frenchman, Konu Shavink, just a bit too much. And Nev, broken in his first effort, doesn't surrender a point in his second. And he's on the board for the first time, trailing 2-1. So that is singles 1 on court 1. Everything lined up nicely as it goes down the line. And Konu Shavink will contemplate what he needs to hold on to this slim lead early in the opening set.
When you have that break early on, that's when you have to tell yourself, take care of your serve. You have to really just take care of your serve and know that you may have another opportunity to break.
So ACC already having terrific success this year. It's fitting that we call him that. I'll bring that back to the point for Nev as he comes in. He is 2-1 this year in the 1 position. Did have 1 unfinished match against University of South Florida, but all in all, played a terrific career as an undergrad at Notre Dame, given an extra year of eligibility due to COVID, and made the trip to Gainesville to represent the Gators. A 2-time All-ACC first team in his junior and senior years at Notre Dame. Here a look at the scores across the grounds. Early doors, to say the least, as Grant trying to hold on to that break of serve lead on court number 2, as is Connell on court 5. Rihan and Bonetto all even on court 3, as are Petrovic, actually Braswell at 1 apiece, and Deuce, Karpenschiff, and Tokac. There's an interesting note, and it came late, so we'll have to kind of try to find a way to update things for you. But in that position, Petrovic from Florida State is not competing. That's actually Jamie Connell on that court. And everybody moved up, but we'll get that sorted out as we get through to it. But once again, these are the opening set, best 2 out of 3 sets to garner a singles match. And if Florida just needs 3 of these 6 matches to produce the win over Florida State, as they already took the doubles point. Which one is it? Sorry. Oh, conflicted. Got it. Page 6. Page 6 conflicted. You want me to start? Brian, can you hear Kev? Well, if you want to talk about being conflicted, now here's a guy with a lot going on in his mind today. Florida assistant Matt Clower played at Florida State from 2003 to 2006. He was the first player in Florida State Seminole history to earn All-American status. He was an assistant coach for the Seminoles. There you see him on the left from 2008, 2011. He was right here the last 5 years as USTA player development coach right here in Lake Nona. And then this year, he got the bug to get back into coaching Irina. He called Brian Shelton and said, I'm available if you need me. He also called Dwayne Holmquist and said, Coach, you're not going to believe this, but I think I'm going to go to the Gators.
He called me before, hey, I'm talking to them, and, called me when he said, hey, I'm going to take the job. I think, we actually talked about his career. I think he wanted to get back into the college space, and I think he has a bunch of kids, and, with having a bunch of kids, he wanted to be in a place where he wasn't traveling half the year like he had been doing. So,
Yeah, Coach Clower is the embodiment of professionalism. When he was working here at the USTA National Campus as a player development coach, I would find him in the gym more often than the players he was coaching. And Coach Shelton did speak about how he'll find him sometimes practicing on his serve after practice. And so he's just so professional. He's a master technician. And when it comes to him and Coach Shelton, they're pretty similar in their personalities and their demeanor.
But he's got his former coach across the net. He's got Brian Shelton in his corner now. It's got to be some sort of frayed sort of allegiances. But right now it's all about the Gators. He wants the Gators to propel themselves to a victory over his alma mater. Over on court number 5, a chance for us to peek in at the moment, as there has been a decisive turn in favor of Florida State. Joshua Deuce Carpenschiff taking on Lucas Greif, and it has been all the Frenchman who serves at the near court. Clutch performer, in the words of Coach Dwayne, says he's one of the guys that you just go to and you know you're going to get the supreme effort. He doesn't vary, he doesn't waffle, he just comes out, strikes very big, and is actually quite adept from both wings. Meanwhile, his opponent, standing across the net, is a 5'9" senior from Newburgh, Indiana, a solid performer this year with a 3-1 record. That's Lucas Greif, standing at the far end, who's looking to get on the board for the first time and having his troubles here as Deuce Carpenschiff has held sway through these opening 4 games. And Deuce Carpenschiff will face a break point and a chance for Greif to get on the board. Joshua hails from Lyon, France, which of course, as you know, right now there's a WTA event going on there. And
That's right, we were watching Caroline Garcia this morning.
I believe she basically runs that event, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, literally, I think she's very involved in the admin side of things. And now she's trying to take the trophy. She says, I paid for it, I might as well take it.
You might as well.
Greif with his chance, first break opportunity. And he's got it. Lucas Greif, not Grief, it's Greif. And he was saying good grief after the opening 3 games, but now he has some relief as he has the break for 3-1.
That was a very smart point there by Greif, just making Deuce Carpenschiff have to come up with something, just making a couple extra balls and put the pressure on FSU.
Potential Gators and Seminoles in tow.
I love the shades right there.
Too classy. well-constructed point from Greif.
That's exactly right, Kevin. Notice how he was really attacking the Deuce Carpenshift backhand, and Deuce Carpenshift did a great job of getting up to that drop shot, but did well with going behind him as he was moving up to the net.
Yeah, he's been a solid, steady performer this year. As mentioned, a 3-1 record in both disciplines this year. 3-1 in singles, 3-1 in doubles. That's how that worked when it's both disciplines, Irina. Oh, but you already knew that. He actually lost his first effort in both singles and doubles to Texas to start the year, but has blitzed the opposition since, winning all 6 matches on the trot. Needs to come back here from an early deficit, maintain that winning streak. And Alette as the ball comes in from court number 6 to pause play for the moment. Yeah, that's another aspect, isn't it? Because of the fact that there's just so many distractions, there's so much going on around you, it requires immense focus.
Absolutely, and sometimes it really takes a couple of resets in the middle of just one point, because whether you have someone shouting at you, someone shouting for your opposing team, there's a lot of things that can happen in a college match.
Running down the line, as we were showing you court 1 earlier, FSU still maintains their lead as Cornu-Chavin has forged a 4-1 start against Nev. Everybody else within a touch, just a single game or tied at 2 apiece on the remaining 5 courts, including the one we're on now, court 5. We're hoping to close the gap to a single game.
Greif just doing such a good job with really using his variety. He's trying to really attack the Deuce Carpenshift backhand, but also was able to really go to the open court, mix his slice as well. It's giving him a lot of variation today.
Early strife for Greif, but now he's starting to settle in. You're starting to see a little bit more of the the stable game that he holds, and cause some problems for Deuce Carpenshift.
That's that college strategy. You want to put your guys that you know are going to get that point in your 4, 5, 6 positions. They're so important early on.
Yeah, this is a good effort and a good rebound. And as I said, just no shakiness from Lucas. For him as a senior, he's been through a lot. He's seen a lot. He's one of the few members that was part of the national championship team from 2 years ago, where he just knows what it takes. There's no panic in his game. Showing as much here in game 5 as he looks to hold the love. And that is the 1-2 punch you just love to see if you're a Gator fan. Lucas Greif will take it. Good serve to extend Deuce Carpenshift wide up the tee, and then finishes strong to get himself to within a game.
But look at that margin, Kevin. Just did such a good job with, didn't have to go for broke on that easy put away. Great job with his feet.
Meanwhile, things getting pretty tight over on courts 1 and 2 as we take a peek in. It's actually 5-1 in favor of ACC. Cornu-Chavin looking to wrap things up. He's got a set point as Nev just has been all out of sorts, disheveled this opening set by the Frenchman. The Gator in the far court just trying to preserve some semblance of foothold in this opening set as he serves to stay in it. 5-1.
That's unbelievable athleticism there by Cornu-Chavin. Did such a good job with neutralizing with that slice. Brought Nev inside the baseline. But look at this running forehand. Just can't even see him on the screen. Did such a good job with giving himself so much margin on that pass.
Not sure if Cornu-Chavin knew what he was doing there in the case of Nev, because Nev has been working desperately to try to get better at that forward transition. But just ACC just had him all out of sorts once again. as you said, just made the right play, pulled the trigger. He just seems so composed and has a really sort of a methodical way of going about his business as a Frenchman. Nice Nev with the big lefty serve. Hard to teach at 6'4". You can't teach tall, but you can use it to your advantage.
Yeah, you know, I really have been trying to teach myself tall, and it just has not worked out for me. But that's a clutch serve to come out to get back to 15 all there.
Oh, Axel Roux, that backhand, had it lined up, didn't have to go that big. But perhaps that's a testament to the respect he's showing Kornyshavin, because he knew that he was going to try to close out.
And that's what happens. What Kornyshavin did in those previous 2 points, he was able to hit an investment point. He knew that Nev is going to probably go for a little bit more on his winner opportunities.
I like that, partner. Is that all right if I investment point? I'm writing that down. I like that. But I know exactly what you mean. And yeah, it just all lays down a nice foundation, and it's been a perfect start for Kornyshavin, who looks to remain perfect on the year. He's a point away from taking the opening set, breaking Nev once more to do so. And that's long. Kornyshavin lets everybody know at the Collegiate Center that he takes the opening set to give FSU a fighting chance on court 1 in singles 1 action. Absolutely upends Axel Nev, getting one of the 2 sets he covets. Oh, that was guttural. Even in slow-mo, the whole, just the majesty of his bellowing comes full force. So the Frenchman off to a good start on court 1. Here is an update across the 6 courts as things starting to settle in a little more on court 2. Will Grant of Florida up on Pourvois 4-2 with his break. Also his teammate Bonetto up on Rihan 4-2 with a break. Braswell and Connell on serve on court number 4. We showed you court 5 and Deuce Carpenshift leading Greif, who is starting to forge his way back in. And on court 6, Smith and Tokac remain on serve, get things go. Court 4 is where we're heading next. Let's take a peek in on Connell and Braswell. Okay. This is Jonah Braswell, hails from Sarasota, Florida, over on the west coast of the central part of this state. He's a 6-foot freshman and serving 15 love, up a break 3-2. Looking to pick up his second win in the number 4 position. He won his first 2 matches of the year at the number 3 spot. Also has a win in this position, but he's returned back, just getting in and hoping that he can handle Jamie Connell, a 6'4" sophomore from Edinburgh, Scotland. Back to receive serve.
Was a questionable call, and I think it might have been overturned there. Braswell doing such a good job with his feet, getting around enough spacing to hit that inside-out forehand, but Connell's saying, are you sure that was in?
Well, he can appeal, and I think his objection has been overruled.
Yep.
And he's going to find himself in a world of hurt here if he can't regroup, because Braswell is looking to consolidate the break. Forge ahead 4-2. That's just what Braswell does. Brian Sheldon calls him an absolute grinder. And consistency is the weapon of choice for Jonah. And he has been consistent enough to get out to a 4-2 lead on court 4. Yeah, Sarasota not far from here. There aren't a lot of Florida representations for either squad from schools that have Florida in the name.
Isn't that funny? Sometimes that happens.
Has a terrific record thus far, and especially against ranked players. Braswell has been putting up and giving as good as he's been getting more often than not. For Jamie Connell, a good mover. He likes to work the angles. Very fit. Just has come under it. That was wide, I believe.
Another dispute.
Oh, okay. I guess it wasn't.
Another overrule as well. I can make an umpire question is when you call after you miss the shot.
Yeah. A tell. I think
Yep.
they call that in some pursuit. We'll see how Jamie Connell responds to this little early adversity. Down a break, serving 2-4. Scott seems to have the truest passion for the sport, according to his coach. He just loves tennis. He wants. Yeah, the Scotsman, somewhat out of your book, Irina Falcone, has the same mentality. He says, practice is over. Coach Dwayne says, you know what? He pulls me aside and says, Coach, would you do me a favor, hit some balls for me for a little longer? I'm not done yet.
You know, and that's what makes a kid stand out, to be honest. And that's what a coach wants. You want to see a player that wants to get better and do more than just what's asked of them.
He's going to have to grind a little bit harder here against the grinder of Florida, Braswell, if he wants to get back in the fray. And manages to get things done. That was a hold to love, so it's 4-3 in favor of Braswell on court 4. It worked so fast and so quickly, don't even need to put up game scores. Boom, 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 done. And Connell gets the job done. Well, it's just about a quarter past the 6 o'clock hour in the greater Orlando area, specifically Lake Nona, this beautiful setting that is the southern jewel of the USTA, the national campus here at Lake Nona. Just a beautiful setting, and they did such a great job in laying this out for not only player development, but also here at the Collegiate Center.
It's an absolutely great place, and the fact that they're able to bring so much college tennis to a place like this. You have the airport so close. You have player development site where a bunch of pros practice in. It's a beautiful facility. I love coming here every day.
And you know what? They got the nod back in 2020. This year in May will be the first time ever Division I, 2, and 3 national championships in tennis. The NCAA championships will all be held here in Lake Nona.
The biggest thing I think is parking. There's just not going to be enough parking for all those schools.
Let's get back to the single scoreboard and check things out as they stand currently. Kornushavin got that opening set. 6-1 was up a break, but has just been broken back by Nev. Bonetto over on court 3, looking to give the Gators the upper hand by taking the opening set, as is his partner right next to on court number 2. Will Grant up 5-3. Braswell, as we showed you, up 4-3. Tokach also giving Florida the lead over on court number 6, as we do turn our attentions now to court number 3. This being Bonetto, Nate Bonetto, sophomore from Bend, Oregon, in the near court, serving 30-all. That's a big blast from the racket of Youssef Rehan, the Algerian for FSU.
Rehan did such a good job with being able to get back on that point. In the middle of that point, he almost slipped, but was able to really get around, grasp himself back in this point. You can see here, just look at the way he got around, got his feet set to really get enough spacing on that inside-out forehand. Yeah,
he's one of the big hitters. He's a really physical player, is Youssef Rehan. And part of a bit of a surprise that he's being handled so easily thus far by Bonetto. Nate Bonetto's coming back from an injury to his playing hand that kept him out of play for. Meanwhile, Youssef Rehan this year for the Noles unbeaten, 6-0 in the spring season. And of course has played for his home nation, Algeria. Comes from Algiers. in the last couple of years. Youssef has a laid-back demeanor. That's how he's described by his fellow players and coaches off the court, but oh, he can be a beast on it.
I think that's kind of what you want. You want to be a beast on the court and then be more well-mannered off the court, right? Not the other way around.
I concur. You don't want to be the least off the court and then just be problematic on it. You want to just get it timed right. And that's a good effort for Rehan to be able to break and stay present and accounted for in the opening set. He's done well with that 6-0 record thus far in the spring, and 2 of them opponents have been nationally ranked opponents. He himself currently ranked 24th in the country as he serves 3-5. He's described by Coach Twain as a guy who likes the fight, likes the battle, and he's got himself one here down a break early.
That's a fantastic job there by Bonetto, doing such a good job with his feet, really attacking the shot with that footwork and wanting to come forward right after he hit it. He did such a good job with going forward with that shot.
Bonetto, one of 2 left-handers on the Gators squad. There's another look at Ben Shelton. Last year, he walked away as the NCAA singles champion. Turned professional, went to the U.S. Open. Decent result, but man, did he blow it out in Melbourne at the Australian Open, being a quarterfinalist his first trip out of the country. Here to support his Gators.
Already beat Dad with his career high.
Yeah, he's jumped past him, didn't he? He jumped some 40-plus spots in the rankings, did Ben Shelton. His dad's career high was 55. He was back in the 90s. Now he's up 11 spaces higher than Pops at 44.
Always competing, the Sheltons are.
You know that doesn't sit well. There's a lot of pride on the dad's side, but he's like, I didn't think he'd get me this quick. Keep an eye here for the moment on court 3, but over on court number 2, things getting interesting as Will Grant is trying to close out the opening set against Pourroy, serving at 5-4.
Great 1-2 here by Rehan, once again giving himself enough spacing on that forehand, and great margin on that inside in.
Good serve, handcuffed Bonetto, but he got the ball back in play. But then the second or third shot, Rehan able to seal the deal. So 5-4 as Bonetto on court 3 will serve for the opening set for Florida. And right next door on court number 2, his teammate Will Grant is trying to do exactly that by an identical score. 15-all, up 5-4 for the Gators. Oh, a good finish. Slicing.
And what a roar from Grant. Did such a good job with not going deep on that volley, Kevin. He just bunted it, made it absolutely virtually impossible for Pourroy to make a play off of it.
Really smart student athlete is Will Grant. You can see it in his game. Really comes with an intense focus and what his coach calls is a very high tennis IQ. 2 points from taking this opening set. And well done to put himself to set point. Yeah, such an impressive student, and the student athlete portion, 3 times named an ITA Scholar Athlete as he goes for 4 for 4 this year. Hails from not far from here, Boca Raton, just down south.
See, I had the tennis IQ, not so much the academic IQ.
Grant serving with triple set point. Yeah, of course, there's no ad scoring, so triple set point meaning that even if he goes to deuce, he'll still have a set point in the deciding point, but he may not need that the way he's been serving of late.
Pourvois doing such a good job with using that heavy forehand, getting it a little bit too high for Grant to hit on the highest part of the net. Bit of a low percentage shot.
So FSU has the opening set on court 1, but the Gators are serving for the opening set at 5-4 on 3 courts. Courts 2, 3, and 6. And Braswell for the Gators on court 4 looking to get to 5-4 as well. So in good stead are the Gators right here. A second set point for Will Grant. And just not enough to work with it. I mentioned triple set point. Here it is. The third set point for Grant. He doesn't want this to slip away to Pourvois. It's the third time the charm for the Gator. Pourvois hangs in, hangs on, saves 3 set points to get the break. And 5-all.
Very physical point here by Pourvois, and just once again did such a good job with giving himself margin on that passing shot.
Meanwhile, on court 3, another set point for the Gators. As Bonetto, trying to serve it out, has the chance. So court 3, the Gators trying to get their first set one. And Bonetto, you hear that loud roar. Bonetto able to convert, and he's got the opening set on court 3 for Florida. So Pourvois serving at 5-all on court number 2. Loris Pourvois, 6'1" junior, hails from Cap France, attended the Patrick Mouratoglou Academy before settling in at Florida State. And meanwhile, over on court number 6, Florida about to take another set. Togan Tokac serving with set point against Barnaby Smith to give what he hopes will be the Gators the opening set. The native of Istanbul, Turkey, looking to put this one away. And the freshman said to be a people pleaser. He loves to perform and produce for others. Well, he's done his job in the opening set. Togan Tokac takes it 6-3. And Florida now, with the opening set done on 3 courts, they've taken 2 of those sets and are getting very close to giving themselves a big forward push. Here is the overall look. Tokac on court 6. That now goes to 6-3 in his favor. So a 1-set lead. Bonetto taking court 3's opening set. And meanwhile, Grant with those 3-set points. Oh, how he rused that he couldn't got one of them. This is Braswell serving 15-love 5-4 as he tries to give the Gators the opening set, facing Jamie Connell of Florida State.
Fantastic job there by Connell, doing such a good job with being so compact on that takeaway on that backhand and being inside the court. Gave himself so much margin on that return.
Braswell serving 15-all. Oh, that found the line. Connell, half chance at 15-30 now.
You know what makes his forehand so tough to read is the fact that he is so deceiving with that takeaway. You really have no idea where it's going, and he gives himself so much shape and margin on his shots. It's very tough to read, Kevin.
Braswell was able to break Connell early in the set. Connell trying to get back in it. We have a little hitch in our giddy up. It's actually 15-30 currently as Braswell puts the ball in play. And things have gone off just a bit for Braswell. He needs to maintain his composure here, reclaim his focus. Connell's looking to take advantage of a little wobble here. And he does well.
Just took it just a tiny bit early, but made sure to really punch that forehand down the line so effectively there.
And the chance to break now for Connell. The Scotsman delivering that winner up the line on the return. A chance to get even at 5 apiece. So Braswell in a world of hurt. Again, it is 15-40 in favor of the Seminole. And Braswell able to save 1 break point. Still some work to be done at 30-40. Over on court number 2, it'll be Will Grant serving for a second time as he has broken Pourroy for 6-5. Remember, had 3 sets points, couldn't convert. We'll see if this is his time when he stands up next. Connell, Irina, almost playing a game of patty cake out there.
Yes, I thought that his string broke. That's what he was doing.
Okay.
So there was a reason why he was doing that. I promise you, I don't think that was very intentional. But he did a good job with getting quite a few back, making Braswell actually have to come up with the goods, knowing that he had a broken string.
Yeah, it's just no other real tactic because you could lose the control, right? I mean, there's no tension in your racket. You're not sure. But it does do a good job of negating, the power that Braswell can bring, at least for the time. But it doesn't earn him the point, and now will be a deciding point. A 3rd set point for the Seminole as Braswell tries to hang on. He's got a set point of his own. Deciding point for either 6-4 for Braswell or 5 apiece. And the struggle is real. The double fault, Braswell did not play that game well, served poorly, not up to his standard, and it costs him 5 apiece on court number 4.
Kevin, earlier in that game, Connell hit a few return winners, and that can cause just a little bit of hesitation on the serve as well, make you doubt just a little bit.
Nev on court 1 was down a set and a break. He's evened at 3-all in the second. Meanwhile, on court number 2, things continue to get interesting as Grant, who has already missed out on 3 set points for the Gators, serving for the set for a second time. A little adversity early against Pourroy, but now at 30-all, feels like maybe, just maybe, this is where he closes it out. This is one of the areas, Irina, that in speaking with Brian Shelton, coach of Florida, he talked about Will Grant, that he needs and has been working on, is the fact that he knows he's a grinder. He knows he's a solid, consistent player, but sometimes he goes on, to borrow an Australian term, a mental walkabout. He's been working hard on trying to find a way to fine-tune his focus, but he's having trouble here.
That's the beauty about having a young team, though.
Yeah,
You're able
fair.
to really grow and develop, and it's such a fun position to be in if you're Coach Shelton.
Break chance for Pourroy. Trying to send it to a tie break. And that's good movement forward, and just a nice slide into the put away that Grant can't handle. And it's 6-all on court 2. Tie break will decide it. Meanwhile, on court number 5, quickly over there is Deuce Carpenship with a chance to wrap up the opening set for Florida State. He's in the near court as he takes on Lucas Greif. Oh, and Lucas Greif playing with fire. That was deep into the court, and it seemed to throw off Deuce Carpenship.
I actually think Greif got a little bit lucky. Deuce Carpenship got unlucky there with the let court. Was going for a big inside-out forehand. Just produced a short ball off that let. Greif doing the most out of it, but he still has another set point here.
Yeah, the deciding point for the Seminole on his serve. If he gets it, sets his, and Florida State in good stead on court 5. And there it is. The Frenchman gets it done. Hangs on. Greif a bit long, a little ambitious on that forehand, and it doesn't get the job done. Deuce Carpenship, 7-5 in the opening set as he gives the Seminoles the lead on court 5.
And just you can hear this roar of excitement. That's the kind of thing that if you're your other teammates, that fires you up. It makes you want to just continue performing, continue competing and fighting.
He too hails from Lyon, France, but that is a truism, right? I mean, from your days of playing, you know it. It's so difficult to maintain your composure because you got the fans talking, you got 6 courts all at once, and then you have your teammates or the opposition yelling out at opportune moments. How much of an advantage is that, and how much is it you just almost have to tune it out?
You know, it's really funny that you mentioned that because when I was playing, we didn't have sunsets like that.
Well, is that live or is that a postcard?
That is that is live. That is actually my view right here, right now, and just goes to show this is a very happy place when it comes to tennis. But back in my day when I was playing for Coach Shelton, at one point I would get so invested on everybody else's courts and their matches and their scores, as you can see here. I would be looking at court 6, court 5, and be shouting their names. At one point, he turned my bench around because I was just so invested on everybody else's court. So sometimes distractions can be good because it kind of takes the edge off and the pressure off a little bit. But also sometimes you got to focus on what you're doing.
As you saw there, the Seminoles of Florida State up a set on courts 1 and 5. Florida is leading on courts 3 and 6. But court 2 is where the action is. The excitement of an opening set tiebreak before us between Will Grant and Loris Pourroy. And thus far, right now, Will Grant has the slight edge at 2-1. And Pourroy just getting a little too cute trying the slice. Backhand worked, forehand did not. By the way, partner, don't think I didn't notice that 90s reference. Well done. Getting Jesus Jones in there right here, right now. Good stuff. Oh, what a great song. Will Grant was playing all the right notes early. Got off to a great start against Pourroy, then had a chance to close it out at 5-4. Had 3 set points, couldn't get it done. Had another set point, serving 6-5, couldn't get it done. Can he get it done in the tiebreak? He's up 3-1.
Yeah, it's funny. You find it time and time again. Players sometimes just elevate their games when they are behind in a match. And you can just see here, Grant just didn't do enough here with his feet. Maybe lost the ball a little bit playing under the lights. It can be just a new adjustment. You see that the sun has started to set. All those things you have to be accounted for.
Yeah, Will Grant has had a tough time of it thus far. Granted, it's early in the season for Florida. They haven't had a lot in the spring session here, but 4 matches played. Will Grant with a 1-2 record and 1 unfinished match. And he feels like he has unfinished business to attend to right here. I mean, this set was his. He was in control, had the set on his racket. multiple set points and couldn't produce. How much does that linger and stick in his mind?
Absolutely. I think Maria Sharapova said it best. You have to have amnesia when you have those opportunities, because this is a new point, new position. You can't be thinking about that previous point because there's nothing you can do about it. And so you just have to focus on the point that's right in front of you, and how are you going to be able to utilize those learning experiences? How am I going to move forward and take those going forward?
Wow, your memory can put you at peril. And for right now, Will Grant, he's struggling once again as he's allowed Pourroy back into this tiebreak. They will switch ends. They'll give us a chance once again to update over on court number 4 as Braswell of Florida is 2 points away from sending it to a opening set tiebreak against FSU's Connell. Here's a quick update on the single scoreboard. That's the lone other match amongst the 6 taking place right now where the first set has not found its way to a resolution.
We did say it was going to be a dogfight, did we not?
We did. I mean, we're just missing the barking sounds. This has just been full on, and that's what you expect from Florida and Florida State.
If we were in Athens right now, you would hear some barking.
Grant fires an ace as they swap ends to give himself 4-3. Yeah, there's a lot of barking, though. There's a pretty good turnout. Again, the crowds here were expected because it's such a centralized location with so much support for both universities in Central Florida. One more serve on court 4 for Braswell as he tries to get it to the tie break as Pourroy puts the ball in play. Oh, a nice injection of flat pace from Will Grant.
Just notice he just took a little bit more of a cut on this forehand, did a good job. Look at where he's landing inside the court, stayed so balanced throughout that shot. It's so common you see players when they are in tight situations, the ball that they produce gets shorter and shorter, but that is when you actually have to be more aggressive with your racket head.
Grant 2 points away. Meanwhile, Braswell for Florida has extended the opening set on court 4 to a tiebreak as well. So Connell, the Scotsman, will put the ball in play first to begin their 13th game. And Pourroy has come undone.
Grant did such a good job with really producing a very, very deep return there. Got Pourroy out of position, did a little bit too much on that forehand.
Handful of set points have come and gone for Will Grant. Here's another to afford him the chance to grab this set. He's had to work for it. Can he find joy?
It's just so funny how Pourroy's game just elevates a little bit when he is down. You've seen it throughout this set so many times. He was down break point, down set point, but he just comes out of his shell a little bit and just is more aggressive with his feet and decisive with his shot selection.
Pourroy described by Coach Twain as the best all-court game of his bunch, and he really leads by example as the team leader. Still a lot of fight left. As now Grant, you need a second hand to start counting all the set points he's had. You can't do it with just 5. We already used that, so you got a second hand. Okay.
Can't take your match points for granted.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Familiar scenes for Will Grant as he starts to come undone. And once again, Pourroy just kind of being an agitator right now, getting under his skin. Meanwhile, the tiebreak over on court 4, even at 1 apiece between Braswell of the Gators and the Seminole Connell. And a nice turnaround on court 1, too. We'll update you on that score in a moment. See what Pourroy has here as he tries to stave off another set point. They'll swap ends again, and it's still nothing to show for almost half dozen set points for Grant. Pourwa still in the mix.
You have to give Pourwa so much credit to be down and play that solid during those pressure moments.
There is the update from Court 1, and Florida State looking to have their first singles point. They are hopeful that Antoine Cornu-Chauvin will be able to finish things off. It'll be Nev serving to stay in the match on court number 1 as they resume play when they stand up next in the sit-down currently. But Neto a point away from extending his lead on court 3 for Florida to put himself 2 games away from giving the Gators their second point. Pourwa, big serve, comes for the goods. Now he seems the one who's the most composed. He knows Grant's had his opportunities and nothing to show for it.
Just look at this serve motion. Look at how balanced he ends up being inside the court, almost 4 feet inside. Knew that the serve was going to be effective even if Grant had a racket on it.
Loris 20 minutes ago was facing triple set point, has staved off all of them. He's got a set point of his own now. Oh no, oh, that is going to leave a mark. There might be some scar tissue to deal with for Will Grant because Lourdes Pourwa hung in mightily, saving 7 set points to be able to produce the opening set in a tiebreak. And he is delighted with his effort.
Yeah, you can even see Coach Holtkiss get a little bit animated there. Every set counts, Kevin.
Absolutely does, and Florida State now has a set lead or better on 3 courts. They need, again, don't forget, because Florida won the doubles point, Florida State needs to win 4 of these 6 singles matches. And meanwhile, they're going towards the conclusion on court number 1. Let's get over there for Antoine Cornu-Chauvin serving for the match. Or excuse me, receiving serve as Nev of Florida tries to stay in the match.
He's
and
now 2 points away.
He's been dynamic. He's looked terrific today, hasn't he?
And I think Coach Dwayne, he talked about him just being so solid. He's got that 5-0 momentum record going into today's match. It's all going his way.
Yeah, he has just been absolutely the giant slayer. This is now a point away from a 6-love start, as you mentioned, unbeaten this year. And all 6 players that he has faced have been nationally ranked. I mean, he goes up against the top quality players, and he doesn't lose. Nev in a world of hurt.
Nev doing such a good job with staying in that point. Cornu-Chauvin just got a little bit stuck there on that forehand. Might have caught it a little bit too late. Didn't expect Nev to hit that deep of the slice. But this is when Nev has to tell himself, hey, you're 2 points away. Let's get it close. Let's get it to 5-all. It's your serve. You need to have confidence in that lefty serve right now. First serve, so important.
Yeah, and as you say, that first serve important, and not only that, but just to get a little bit of a semblance, not take any risks. I mean, he put the ball right in the middle of the return box and played pretty central. Didn't want to make a mistake.
Yeah, you can just see how much it means to him. This is such a crucial point right here for Nev.
He's done so well, has Axel Nev to get back in. This was down a set and a break early, 3-1. Marched back, made it even at 4 apiece. Now trying to get to 5-all. But Cornu-Chauvin says, I'm not interested in 5-all. I'm interested in being done in straight sets, and he now has the chance to do just that. It'll be the deciding point on court 1, which would be match point if the Seminole can convert here. And there it is. ACC gets it done once more. Unblemished in the 2023 spring season, 6-0 as he topples the top Gator. Does so in straight sets, 6-1, 6-4. Antoine Cornu-Chauvin with the win.
That's the kind of roar that if you're the other Seminole teammates, that's the kind of stuff that can really fire you up. And it's a great few weeks here for Cornu-Chauvin. Beat the #1 ranked player, Ethan Quinn of Georgia, a few weeks ago, and his performance today was spectacular.
Yeah, from start to finish. I mean, dominated the opening set. Had to weather a little bit of the comeback from Nev as things wore on in the second set, but when it mattered most, he knuckled down, and he continues to play phenomenal tennis. ACC, already named twice ACC Player of the Week, and we're only in, what, week 5 of the season thus far?
That's right, that's right.
He's got the big game, and the straight sets win proves it. More importantly for Florida State, they are on the board. They now have a singles point, so it's 1 apiece. Remember, Florida State needs 3 more points in singles play to topple Florida. Florida won the doubles point. They, too, need 3 singles matches to go their way. Right now, the Gators do lead on court 3 and on court 6. Meanwhile, the Seminoles with the upper hand on courts 2 and 5 with a chance on court 4 as it's in a tiebreak there. As teased, court 4 for you in this opening set tiebreak.
Connell just doing such a good job with getting so many balls back, but Braswell just being a little gutsier and staying a little bit more patient to start off that tiebreaker. That's probably the longest point of the match there, Kevin.
Yeah, it might be of the day. These guys have been grinding out, and they're both, that's their forte. I mean, we talked about Braswell and how he's an absolute grinder in the words. That's a quote from his coach, Brian Shelton from the University of Florida. Connell is described as the hardest worker as far as physicality on the team. He's the fittest. He's the guy who likes to work hard on his endurance, to wear down opponents, just sort of grind them into the ground himself. So this is where something has to give. These are 2 Rams just battering each other. Having trouble with the score from court 4. They have not registered what the individual points are at this point. So with that, we're going to try to do our best to keep you abreast of it. Obviously, there's a lot of action going on and to be able to understand, but it looks as if things are favorable for the moment for Jonah Braswell. So we'll take leave of court 4 for the moment and get you back updated when we actually have an understanding of what's going on with the score, because we're having a little difficulty with that now as things are flushing out. Right next door on court 3, Nate Bonetto has the upper hand right now, a set and a break up on Rehan of Florida State. It's a deciding point in the 6th game, as it will be Rehan serving. And he gets it. He gets the hold. So it's 3-all on court 3 in the 2nd set. And over on court number 2, we take a peek in as things have gotten underway in set number 2 between Pourvois and Grant. Well, we remain on court 4. Again, the score, unfortunately, is beyond us. We cannot update you on that in this tiebreak. We can just tell you this. These two have been battling in this opening set.
Fantastic job there by Braswell. You see Connell just trying to really put Braswell in an uncomfortable position, going high heavy to his backhand, but Braswell doing such a good job with disguising that takeaway. He knows that he can go down the line, but he's being smart and not pulling the trigger too early. Connell doing such a good job with just taking some extra breaths right here. Very important, crucial points here in a tiebreaker, such pressure situations.
Little buzz here. I mean, we don't know the score exactly, but the Gator fans are hopeful here. They seem to be anticipating Braswell perhaps holding a set point here. Would not appear as so. That is it. Done. Oh, he's all beside himself. He had to work hard. Yeah, I don't think that's it. Yeah, I don't think we should. You know what? I think we're going to make a move and go over to court number 3, where we know the score is correct. Florida State and Florida in a battle between Rihan and Bonetto that has started to take shape as a nice contest. In the near court is Nate Bonetto coming back from a hand injury. And the Algerian Rihan in the far court. Rihan with the chance to give himself a push out front. So court 1 is done, and that turns Cornu, Chauvin, and Nev into just fans right now, both cheering for their respective schools, as Cornu Chauvin took that opening set 6-1, 6-4 for Florida State, giving them their first point. Oh, there's a nice delivery. Youssef, Rihan, nice blast through the open space.
Is it exciting for a fan when there is no lets? Because I just find it, I mean, it's got to be so tough if you're returning a serve and knowing that you have to play the let.
Yeah. Yeah, that change would make it trying, as Rihan does get the hold for 4-3. So he's trying to extend this to a third set, as Bonetto's lead has shrunk here and actually puts him behind. It's also 3-all in the second set over on court 6, as Tokach of Florida took the opening set, but Barnaby Smith of FSU has made it even. And he's a point away from extending the lead himself to 4-3 on that court, court 6 as well. Yeah, good turnout. As expected, the Collegiate Center here draws well. It is the home court of the University of Central Florida throughout the season, but often college match day, they like to bring in some big name programs, and what more could you ask in Central Florida than literally bringing in Florida and Florida State. So one apiece, Florida the doubles point, Florida State the first singles point, coming off court number 1 with their big gun, the Frenchman Antoine Cornu Chauvin, taking it 6-1, 6-4 over Axel Nev. And still 5 matches to decide, with Florida having the chance taking the opening set on courts 3 and 6. Florida State leading up a set and a break on court 5. And we will update you on the conclusion of that tiebreak on court number 4 at the moment. Court 5 would be an interesting place to go, as Deuce Karpenschiff looking to give Florida State a real push of momentum. Oh.
I'll tell you what, Kevin, that's not an easy shot to hit. It looked a little bit lackadaisical with his feet there by Deuce Carpenshift, but when that ball gets up on the lights and you're not used to it, that's just an adjustment that you have to make, and it can just take a couple of points just getting used to playing under the lights. You know, Ben Shelton spoke about that as well when he was playing in Australia. He wasn't really used to playing that late.
Yeah. Or grinding best of 5 sets too,
yes, that's
multiple
right.
times over. And another example, just getting caught up, the feet not moving, not getting himself into position. Deuce Carpenshift coughs up a couple of points, allow Greif right back in.
This is one of those moments where Carpenshift has to make sure that he does not allow for Greif to feel as though he can get back into his this match. You have to continue elongating that lead.
Deuce Carpenshift does indeed get the hold, a 3-1 lead, a set and a break on Greif on court 5. Meanwhile, let's update you on court number 4. Braswell of Florida finally wrapped up the tiebreak. He takes it for the Gators and now is a 1-set lead, and the Gators do lead on 3 of the 5 remaining matches, up a set, as the Seminoles have leads on courts 2 and what we just showed you on court number 5. This is where it gets pretty tense. This is where things start to take shape, where if you've got that 1-set lead, you do not want to relinquish it.
Absolutely, and you want to feel as though you're looking down your team and you're looking down the lineup, you're seeing the other courts, you want to feel as though, okay, we have this, and we have to continue capitalizing on our opportunities here.
Yeah, this is a fun one. We've looked in a couple times. We'll return to court number 3, Nate Bonetto at the far end, the left-hander for the Gators, taking on Rehan of Florida State.
Wow, you saw it all in that point. The slicing, the high heavy, but there's Coach Shelton acknowledging, hey, Bonetto, that was still a good point. You don't want to stress too much about one point, especially if you played it well and you were very effective in trying to do the right things.
Yeah, we talked about the firepower of Rehan and how he likes to use his physicality and his intensity on court, but Coach Dwayne said that he likes to use that strength to create power, and you just saw it just at the last moment. They're really able to get the racket head through and hit beyond Bonetto. It gives him a chance to hang tough in this 8th game.
Just look at this return here. Did such a good job with that compact backhand takeaway. Just took the ball a tiny bit early. Caught Bonetto on that serve. Opportunity here.
Big chance, and on the deciding point, well done by Greif. By Bonetto to go out wide and force a tough return for Rehan, because that was potentially the chance for the Seminole Rehan to serve for the match.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was a very gutsy play, knowing that Rehan just hit a return winner on that previous point, and so you want to keep testing him. Did such a good job with using that leftiness, as if you will.
That's a valid weapon, and it's going to be 4-all on the scoreboard. There's the update, as Rehan, instead of serving for the match, or excuse me, serving for the set to extend it to a 3rd here in this match, he's just going to have to try to conjure the lead. And over on singles court number 6, Tokach of Florida has made it 4-all, already up a set on Barnaby Smith. Oh, just a let off from Rehan here, just a bit of a stumble. Very disappointed himself. He's going to go retrieve the ball to take some extra time to regroup. There's the man at the helm of Florida State, as mentioned, 24th season as head coach. As Dwayne Holtquist has really shown a lot over the years in how to build a program that went from just kind of an afterthought amongst all the Seminole sports to now one of the leading programs in all sports at the Tallahassee University. 330 career wins in Tallahassee as the head coach.
That's unbelievable. That's legend status right there.
He's going to have a drive named for him in Tallahassee at some point.
Absolutely.
There'll be Dwayne Holquist Avenue or Street.
A few. There might be a few.
Yeah. Oh, Rehan stops play. Bonetto was driving towards the line. It looked like it found it. And it looks as if the chair agreed.
99% out is still in,
yeah,
Kevin.
That's
and
right.
that's all Bonetto needed here, and that was a big overrule there. You just feel the momentum shift just a little bit.
Doesn't have to be all, just has to be some, and that works to Bonetto's advantage. Rehan has come off the boil here. He has been a little spotty in this game, and Bonetto, who is described as the toughest competitor on this team, who relies on his athleticism to just work hard and get himself back in the mix. He's done just that. And he will have the opportunity to break, potentially to serve for the match. And it was Bonetto who blinked first.
Rehan just doing such a good job with staying solid, giving himself so much margin. Effective depth on both the forehand and backhand wings made Bonetto go for broke. And notice on that inside-out forehand, he probably just went a little bit too much. That's when, if you're Coach Shelton, you have to tell yourself, hey, give yourself margin. That would have been a very effective shot, maybe 3 or 4 feet inside the court.
This is the fun of this format, no ad scoring. How big is this point for both?
Yep.
The match could hang in the balance here if Bonetto is able to convert. Oh, and Rehan throws in a devastating double fault.
That's the worst thing you did in your life, man.
Oh, he's just beside himself. And the man from Algeria has just coughed up his serve, and it will be Nate Bonetto serving for the match when they stand up next on court 3. We continue on this beautiful Thursday night, early February in Central Florida. Let's update you on the score. It's 1-1 in favor of Florida in the doubles point. They won that. You see on court number 1, Florida State taking the singles point. It is a potential now for the chance for Florida to pick up a second singles point to move ahead 2-1 as Nate Bonetto will try to serve for the match. That score, as you see, has just updated to 5-4 in the second, and the Gator will try to seal the deal. Meanwhile, on courts 5 and 6, the Florida State duo, for 1, it's a chance to try to close out the match in straight sets. Deuce Carpenshift looking to hold for 4-2, while his teammate Barnaby Smith on court 6 is trying to send it to a third set. Let's go to court 6, where Togan Tokac finds himself trying to find a way to 5-all. The Gator in the near court serving to the aforementioned Barnaby Smith, the Brit in the far court. That's a beauty. That is well done. You have to like the industry.
I'm just liking his reaction right there, even pointing to his head, knowing that that was just such a great play, moving Smith around, and just look at that roar, continued aggression, and he goes for it one more time. Not done yet.
Yeah, he is the spirit leader. He's the spark plug. Togan can't hide his emotions. He would be a horrible poker player because he leaves it all right there. Oh, and a nice response from Barnaby Smith. Unflustered.
Smith doing just such a good job with getting inside the court, enough spacing on that forehand, and waited to the very last second to really pull the trigger there. Got toe catch completely out of position.
Well, we'll keep you updated on this because this can't end here, but it can end over on court number 3 as Nate Bonetto, the lefty in the near court for Florida, trying to wrap this up. He's 2 points away as he looks to serve out the match and give Florida a 2-1 lead. A little too ambitious on the forehand once again as Nate hits long.
Even though he missed that one, Kevin, I would still consider that a very good miss because you're still going for your shot. He was trying to give himself margin. The next one, you know, you just got to give yourself a little bit more, but still, good shot. Do it again.
Yeah. Make the adjustment. See if you're successful the next time. Oh, that time long also. Had the right idea, brought the aggression. Rihan did well to just stay composed, and Bonetto forced to hit long once more, and from 30 love to 30 all.
Yeah, if you're Bonetto right now, this is when you tell yourself, all right, let's just reset here. Let's really grind it out and just stay tough in this point.
And once again, serves and comes forward, and Rihan again, a cool customer. Oh, he delivers a fine backhand up the line.
Look at how balanced he stayed throughout this. Backhand just so tough, Rihan, in these pressure points, pressure moments.
Oh, and that's going to stun Nate Bonetto. He thought he had it done and dusted, and he just stumbles against the composure of Rihan.
And just look at where he was inside the court. He was completely ready for that backhand. And look at that roar to get himself back in position here in this set.
So Bonetto's bid to serve it out and win in straight sets, well, at least for the moment, has been stymied. As 2 courts now where Gators lead up a set and 5 all. Not only here on court 3 with Bonetto and Rihan, but over on court 6, as we showed you, Tokac and Smith. And things could end very quickly and very well for the Gators here if they can find a couple of games on those 2 courts to win in straight sets and move ahead 3-1. It's potentially there for them, but you have to admire the moxie of Rihan to just fight his way through, get this to an even 5 apiece in the second.
There's just some calm aggression coming out of Rihan's eyes right now that you can just see here. But Bonetto just doing such a good job, found himself inside the court, saw Rihan out of position, and gave himself so much margin on this forehand here.
Effective, even serving into a lefty is Rihan with that wide serve, just excellent placement, kept it low. Bonetto couldn't get control of the return.
And I think it's a bit of a surprise too. He was kind of expecting it to the backhand.
Oh, and the miss hit. And Bonetto really has hit a rough patch.
That was just unbelievable defense there by Rihan. You thought Bonetto was going to win that point 3 shots ago, but Rihan just doing such a good job with anticipating and defending. And look at this, just making Bonetto hit another shot, and here we go. He missed it just long on that 4th overhead, but all heart there by Rihan.
outdone the Algerian just too much, and he was 2 points away from dropping this match not long ago, and now he finds himself on the doorstep of sending this to a decisive third set.
Once again, you see that defending come from Rehan just to get himself back in this match, Kevin. This continues to be a dogfight.
Meanwhile, court number 5, things getting interesting as well for the Seminoles as Deuce Karpenschiff has himself in good position, up a set and a break, and potentially a second break of serve coming, as Greif has come under all sorts of difficulty here in trying to hold on to his serve. That would give Florida State their second point if the Frenchman can hold on there. At 30 all currently, as it is Greif serving 2-4 second set on court 5. But right next door on court number 6, a very spirited contest that it too may be either heading towards a third set if the Seminoles have their way, or it could go to a second set tie break if Togan Tokac can get it to 6 all. Currently, the Gator, Tokac from Turkey, won the opening set 6-3. Is trailing Smith 5-6 in the second. Looking to try to make his way towards a tiebreak and a straight sets win. So Barnaby Smith sitting back hoping to find a way to wrap up set number 2. And it's a break point on court 5 right next door. Deuce Karpenschiff a chance to get to 5-2 in the second. If he is able to convert, he would serve for the match. Tokac puts the ball in play at 5-6 on court 6. Oh my. Oh, he starts up the lawnmower, but was that an intended shot?
I'm going to tell you right now, if it was intended, this was unbelievable skill and feel right there. But what fun Tokac is having on the court, and that's what Coach Shelton talks about. The fact that he is just looking like, look at that smile, just constantly laughing, appreciates the good tennis that he's been able to produce throughout this match so far.
No doubt about it on the second point. He comes with aggression to the middle of the court to finish. Yeah, Tokac brings all that spirit, all that energy.
And just so compact there on that forehand volley. Everybody watch me because I'm playing some good tennis right now. That's what he's telling the crowd.
And hoping to give the Gators a further lift if he can get through to a tiebreak and provide a point here. Remember, Tokac, one of 5 freshmen on this squad for University of Florida. Playing with a composure that belies his inexperience. And side by side, things getting exceptionally interesting now for both these squads as Smith tries to go and take this set to move it into a third against Tokac. Right next door on court 5, his Seminole teammate, Deuce Karpenschiff, will serve for the match. 5-2 in the second when he stands up next.
Very clutch serve to put him in a good position here by Tokac. This great motion, so balanced, landed on that left leg so well. Still so fired up.
Point away from the tiebreak in set 2. And a tiebreak it will be. 6-all second set on court 6. So they'll battle through. Meanwhile, on court 5, FSU 3 points away from picking up their second singles point. That's right next door. As Deuce Karpenschiff serving at 15-all, trying to produce a straight sets win.
Carpenshift just a little long there with that backhand, but notice how he's telling himself it's all right, just slow down. These are those moments where if you're Carpenshift, you don't want to let Greif feel as though he can get back into this match, and so he has to really capitalize on the moment.
I'll tell you who likes seeing that body language and that sort of temperament is his coach, Coach Dwayne. He's talked about the fact that Joshua's had ups and downs in trying to maintain momentum, and sometimes it's gotten the better of him. The fact that he's showing this composure here will serve well, not just today, but down the line.
You see so often in moments like these where players actually rush, when in fact you almost want to slow things down just a bit.
Well, now he wants to pick things up. A backhand through the court puts him to match point, and Florida State looking to claim the lead on the scoreboard for the first time as far as points earned. With their second singles point, it will be the Seminoles out in front 2-1. Lucas Greif hoping to prolong this match on court 5. So match point number 1, and Joshua JDK coughs up the DF. The double fault, will that be costly? Can he regroup here with a second match point on his racket? Oh, and he does mightily. What a way to finish. Double faults and then throws in a virtual ace. It counts just as much, and it counts as a point for Florida State. A straight sets win for the Frenchman, Joshua Deuce Carpenshift.
Carpenshift just doing such a good job with keeping that composure. Like you talked about, Kevin, he just knew that double fault. You saw the tentativeness in that double fault in that previous point, but to be able to come up with the goods on that match point and be able to deliver another point for Florida State to get them to 2-1 here.
Yeah, and now things really get intriguing as the Gators have an upper hand position. Yeah, Bonetto here on court 3 is up a set, and in this tiebreak, he has a chance to move through. Remember, he's had the upper hand already on Rehan a few times and couldn't seal the deal. He's got a 2-1 advantage, and how crucial is it for the Gators here on court 3 and on court 6, where Tokach is also up a set and in a tiebreak. Florida could reverse the lead in mere moments here if they take the 2 tiebreaks currently taking place. So it's 2-1 in favor of Florida State overall.
Yeah, Rehan doing just such a good job. Saw that Bonetto was going to be in a vulnerable position off his good serve, and he did such a good job with getting up to that short ball.
Yeah, 2-all, but 2-1 as mentioned. Don't be fooled. We'll get you the update on that score. Not tied 1-1, but in fact 2 singles points for Florida State have given them the lead. Bonetto hoping that he can produce it, make it 2-all, if he can steal away this second set tiebreak.
Feet here.
And hear the disappointment in the voice of the man from North Africa, Rehan, who hails from Algiers, Algeria. Just couldn't believe he just gave away that point. Each so crucial in this tiebreak format. They're just about to start the tiebreak on court number 6 as well.
Yeah, Bonetto just doing such a good job here. That inside-out forehand approach he hit wasn't the cleanest, but he gave himself great margin and applied pressure towards Rehan to come up with something, and tried to go for broke there on that down the line.
So Bonetto 4-2. They will swap ends, as is the custom after every 6 points. That's how it's done, Irene, in case you just need an update on how these tie breaks work.
Thank you. Thank you.
How was your mood? What was your energy? And more specifically, did your strategy change at all in a tie break from what it is for the rest of the set? Or did you just maintain the same kind of approach and balance?
I think that my strategy kind of tightened up a little bit. You wanted to get a lead very early on, which is what Bonetto got 4-2, and now he's 5-3. But you want to get that mini break, kind of set the tone early to really test your opponent.
Yeah, Bonetto 4-3 advantage. Rihan over on court number 6. As mentioned, they're just starting to get the tiebreak underway there. The Gators with a set and a tiebreak currently on courts 3 and 6 to hope to pull 2 points in succession very quickly in the next couple of minutes. Meanwhile, on court 4, Braswell looking already up a set, having won a tiebreak against Connell for Florida. Hole to love for 3-all is his ambitious, or excuse me, triple break point for 3-all.
Unbelievable point there by Bonetto, and you could just hear the excitement. Rihan trying to come up with something with Bonetto at net, but just using his athleticism with staying so balanced on that overhead. Huge shot there by Rihan. Just really got his body going forward on that inside-out forehand, attacking the lefty Bonetto forehand. Tight contest right now.
Yeah. Nip and tuck throughout the second set and this tie break, and now both players potential 2 points from taking the set. Oh, just wide. Rihan hung in and forced the forehand to miss wide. Bonetto going just a bit for too much. So Rihan with a set point and a chance to extend it to a third. Thus far, it would be the first and only match to have been extended to a deciding set if he can convert here. As mentioned, it's FSU on the scoreboard leading 2-1 at this juncture. Florida oh so close to producing a second singles point. And Bonetto will force them to swap ends once again. Well, it's 6-all, and you see the update on 2-all on the overall lead. It's 2-1 over on court number 6. Togan Tokac has just wrapped things up against Barnaby Smith with a tie break in the second set to make it 6-3, 7-6. So up top, it's tied 2 apiece, and there it is. There's the updated match day score. So now things get intriguing, and how important is this tiebreak for the sake of Florida? If they can find a way to get Bonetto across the line, a little support here it'll swing the lead back in favor of the Gators, who would need just 1 point to once again defeat Florida State. So 3 matches still in play. And most of the attention of this crowd completely enraptured by the action on court 3. Oh, what an effort, and what a dig from Nate Bonetto.
Are you kidding me, Kevin? I mean, I'm sitting here and just clenching my fist because it is absolutely ridiculous tennis right now from these two. And Bonetto just coming up with the goods on the run. Unbelievable effort there by the Gator.
Yeah, Bonetto, the sophomore from Bend, Oregon, finding his way back in the lineup, had a devastating injury to his playing hand, his left hand with a fracture. Affected his thumb and his grip. Now back in the fray, and look at him, poised to hand the Gators their 3rd point. That's wide, and that'll do it. A straight sets win. Oh, is that called? Is the chair injected? No, it's done. Concession from Rehan, and Bonetto says it was out. And that's done. The Gators assume a 3-2 lead overall. They got the doubles point. They now have 2 singles point. They just need 1 more to make it 7 straight over FSU.
Oh, what a great job there by Bonetto, being able to stay gutsy on that serve and volley. Little bit of a mishap there, but he knew it was wide, and Rehan did too.
Yeah, Nate Bonetto is described by Coach Brian Shelton as the embodiment of everything a coach hopes for in a student athlete. He's a hard worker, terrific, both scholastically and athletic. We just saw what a beast he can be on court when he needs to lay down the focus. And the victory in straight sets puts Florida just a point away. And they're in very good contention to accomplish that, particularly on court number 4, where Broswell is up 4-3 in the second, already having taken the opening set. Pourroy, meanwhile, on court number 2, trying to give Florida State a little bit of hope, a little bit of belief, as he is a point away from assuming a 6-5 lead after having already taken the opening set. Will Grant putting the ball in play, facing break points.
That's a huge serve +1 there by Will Grant, just staying so decisive, so effective with that forehand inside the court. No hesitation whatsoever.
Gators of Florida leading 3-2 on the scoreboard. Florida State trying to make things interesting. The only court that they have the lead is this one you're watching right now, court 2. Pourroy still a point away from stepping the line, hoping to serve out the match if he can break Grant here. And Will Grant has to go to a second serve to try to put himself out to the lead. Pourbois gets it done. The Seminole strong between the ears, and he has himself in position to serve for the match on court 2. And now this is the intriguing part of collegiate tennis. Now where do you go? The 2 even courts are separated by court 3. Pourbois, chance to serve it out for the Noles to get to 3-all. And over on court number 4, Braswell of the University of Florida is 2 games away from clinching the match overall for Florida.
I mean, it's the best of both worlds there.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong, I don't think, Kevin.
So we'll stay here on court number 2 as Pourbois attempts to serve it out. We'll keep you abreast of what's going on court number 4. Florida hoping that Lucas Braswell will indeed be able to close out, leading 4-3 in the second, up a set. Florida State hoping, meanwhile, their player, Connell, will be able to fight back and push things further. But first things first. Can Loris Pourbois serve it out, get it done, and send everybody walking over to get behind court number 4 to see things end in the most dramatic of fashions?
I mean, that's why we watch, you know. You love it when it comes down to the clincher.
So what was the preference, if you think about it? Did you like just stomping the opponents and just shutting them down completely, or did you like pulling it out in the end in the 7th game?
I mean, to be honest, a win's a win, so I didn't really mind either way. But I do remember my sophomore year, I was going into the ACC tournament, and then I kind of just made a comment to my teammates. You know, I've never clinched a match before. What do you think happened in the final?
Pourbois is serving for the match here. I'm going to defer to the record books. Smart from Grant. Oh, and it's getting a little chippy. He said, "Go ahead and try and call that out."
Oh, yeah. That's what it is bound to happen. You let the emotions get a little bit rowdy. The fans start getting involved as well. But this is when Grant needs to just maintain that composure that Coach Shelton has talked about, and that tennis IQ as well.
The number 2 players for both schools on court number 2 trying to finish this off in 2 sets is Pourbois against one of only 2 members of the 2021 National Championship team for the Gators, Will Grant. Oh, he missed it. Pourbois swung big and went wide.
You know, we were talking earlier about how those emotions can get kind of rowdy. You can hear him, you can see him mouth the words. Go ahead and call that one out.
And Pourbois changes things up, comes to the middle of the court. That forces the errant hit by Grant. Yeah, it was interesting, though, too, that it followed him putting his hand up as if to say, pardon me, sorry about that. You know, but meanwhile, he let Pourbois know, not pleased with the way you've been calling the lines today. I dare you to take a shot at calling that one out.
It's a little tentative there by Pourbois on that serve. You saw Grant kind of move around a little bit, just put a little bit of pressure on that Pourbois serve.
And now things starting to get even more tense between these 2 courts. Court 2, as Grant has a chance to send it to a tiebreak. A point away from doing so. Pourbois appeals to the chair.
Where's that electronic line calling that we're waiting for? You can just see Pourbois getting a little bit flustered here. He thought it was an ace there, but not to be had today.
Yeah, he'll have a second serve here. Meanwhile, things have really ratcheted up. We'll update you on court 4. You heard the cheer just now. Can Grant get this break? does. But right now, it may not matter what's happening on court number 2. Our focus needs to go to court 4 immediately because it is poised for the Gators to walk away with the win as they find their number 4 player, Jonah Broswell, serving for the match. 7-6-5-3 on court number 4. And here he is, the 6-foot freshman from Sarasota, Florida. He could finish it off right here with a hole to serve.
Unbelievable point, Kevin. Oh my goodness. Connell just doing such a good job with neutralizing that backhand from Broswell. You can see Broswell just attacking that forehand, but Connell just not going away and defending so beautifully.
A tennis fan might be asking, how can you leave a tie break on the other court and not have resolution there? Well, that match, if Florida State wins that in straight sets, if indeed Bourrois is able to take it, it only adds 1 point to Florida State to make it 3-all, which is impressive in its own right. But if Broswell holds here, that match is moot. This is all about put up and get the job done right here. And a bunch of pressure on the shoulders of the freshman trying to serve it out. No. Well done for the put away. Coach Brian Shelton said he wanted to see from Broswell a bit more variety in his game. He brought all of it and then some there. Changed things up. Strong finish.
Absolutely, and what made that overhead so effective, Kevin, is that he made sure to get it off the court, completely out of play for Connell.
He also calls Broswell, does Brian Shelton, the toughest competitor on the team. He's hoping that that comes to fruition right here, right now. Wrap it up and get the clinching point for the Gators.
Fantastic job there by Broswell. Once again, Kevin just using that variety Coach Shelton wants to continue seeing in his game throughout this season, making Connell have to come up with something and just really imposing himself at net. See Connell trying to fire himself up here. Slight hesitation on that forehand. You could just see the racket head not really producing very much, and the swing just didn't give it enough finish there by Broswell.
Other than the two matches taking place right now on courts 2 and 4, the teams assembled on court 3, all the rest of the players watching how things are unfolding as they turn around and face each court between points. Broswell, though, in the enviable position, 2 points away from giving Florida the win. Court number 2, Pourvois, 3 points away from producing a second tiebreak set to give Florida State a point. They swap ends of 4-2 in favor of FSU. Wow. How's that for moxie from the freshman?
Very, very gutsy play by Braswell, and once again, just keeping that composure, slowing things down just a little bit, understanding the moment and playing within himself. That's just so great, and that's what you want to see if you're Coach Shelton.
How about this? A guy who grew up in Florida, now playing for Florida, his freshman season, playing their arch rivals, Florida State, and poised to deliver the clinching point for the Gators.
A bit long.
Yeah, considerable margin there as Braswell will have to reclaim his focus. Match point, hoping to wrap this whole thing up. And Connell, concession not in his vocabulary, does his part to force a deciding point, a second match point for Braswell and the Gators, as the Scotsman hopes to continue on court 4. And suddenly things get even more intriguing as Pourvois just 2 points away from wrapping up the match on court 2. Match point number 2. And the clincher, the freshman from Sarasota, gets the deciding point. And the Florida Gators, once again for the 7th consecutive time, have taken down their rivals Florida State. And they do so in dramatic fashion. What an effort from the squad. And Jonah Braswell is the one who seals the deal.
What a moment for the freshman to be able to come out on top. And the way that he competed, you can see Coach Matt also congratulating him. The fact that he was able to just stay so calm under those pressure moments. What a moment for Braswell.
They have just been dominant overall. It's been a couple years, 2017, 2018. Dwayne Holtquist was able to lead the Seminoles to back-to-back wins over the Gators, but they haven't won one since. And you see there, overall, the Gators just able to hold sway over the Noles. And today, they did it with some of the more inexperienced players they've ever had to put together as far as a squad. But Brian Shelton knows how to motivate, and the Gators once again prevail.
Yeah, Coach Shelton is going to be pleased about this one. He talked about that young exuberance that exudes from this team, and you could just see how much heart and how much fun these guys were having out there in those moments, in those pressure moments, and they were able to come up with the goods and play some great tennis.
201st career victory at the helm of the University of Florida for Brian Shelton, as he continues to find a way to get this team that was supposed to be something of a work in progress. Well, he's managed to mold these youngsters into a team that is tough to beat.
And that's exactly right. He's got to be feeling so confident knowing that he's got 4 years to help create another championship team. These guys are young, they're hungry, they're wanting to be able to get a national title under their belt. And so it's just going to be so much fun to see how these guys get so much better under Coach Shelton.
On court 2, Pourvois of FSU, the Frenchman was oh so close, 2 points away from making it a straight sets victory, but that match will go unfinished in the record books because of the win And the clock runs out of time as Braswell seals the deal on court number 4. Cornu Chauvin, well, he's just been impressive for FSU all year long. He looked absolutely devastating in the opening set against Neve, or Nev, mind you. But Neto coming through for Florida on court number 3. On the other odd court, it was the Frenchman Deuce Carpenschiff with a straight sets win. But all in all, how important, again, is that doubles point just to give yourself a little padding early, which Florida won?
Absolutely, that doubles point, so important because you just go into singles feeling, okay, we've got one under our belt. We have to just continue using that momentum, going into a singles match and knowing that you kind of have the win in your favor. That's got to make you feel really good and kind of ease a little bit, takes the pressure off just a bit.
We will talk with head coach Brian Shelton in a moment and ask him his thoughts on this contest as once again, this all-Florida clash for supremacy in the Sunshine State. We started with sunlight, Irina, when this began, and now it's gone into the evening session, but it is the Gators who have shown brightest today. Once again, they do terrific work. And now, as mentioned, the man at the helm of the University of Florida, Brian Shelton. And Brian, a direct question to you straight out of the gates, and it might be a tough one. How's this rebuilding season going for you?
Right now, it feels really good. No, I'm, really excited for our young guys. To have a win like this tonight against a really experienced, great team in Florida State says a lot about what we have to look forward to in the upcoming years from our guys.
Yeah, you described this team, obviously no starters from last year's quality team, only 3 returners in total, 5 freshmen, and yet it was the Frosh squad that really came through for you today. I mean, Tokach was terrific over on his court number 6, winning straight sets, and then what can you say about Braswell coming through in the end?
Yeah, I mean, pretty special. 2 freshmen out there battling first time against Florida State, and just the nerve that they showed that they could handle the situations and play some of their best tennis when it mattered most. And that's always what we try to gear up for, those big points, those critical points, and how we handle those moments and how aggressively we play. And to see Jonah out there at the net at the end of that match several times coming forward and being willing to take it to his opponent, really proud.
Yeah, and while we're talking about the young and the restless, this freshman group that comes in, we can't overlook the fact that in the doubles play, it was the Thai Turkish Express running through, Nirendorn and Tokach getting one of the wins to help give you the doubles point. Against Florida State, such a tough team, how important was that doubles point just to get you that little breath of air, some separation?
Yeah, you saw it was huge tonight, giving us that little bit of an edge, took a little bit of pressure off for the singles, as you guys know well. That it's only 1 point, but it's a critical one, and it kind of felt like it was the difference tonight. Willie G was still battling there at the end on court number 2. He just would not go away. So I loved his fight tonight as well.
Had a chance to speak with somebody you're familiar with. He grew up in your home, Ben, earlier today. He was here as a fan. Could you hear his support? He was pretty vocal today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we always wonder where he comes from because he's the loud one in the family. He brings the energy, and just nice to see him out here supporting his boys. He loves these guys, and they're like brothers. So to see him out here, and I know he enjoyed tonight, that's for sure.
Coach, congratulations here. Just wanted to know, you obviously performed so well. It was a great match tonight. What are you taking away from tonight's win going into the weekend? It doesn't get any easier for you guys.
No, it doesn't. We're throwing them at the fire for sure. But Irina, that's where we love to be, right? You love these type of moments and these type of matches and this kind of atmosphere. And just want to say thank you to the USTA and the national campus for hosting us here and allowing us to have such a great experience. And I think college tennis was served tonight.
Just for the tennis fan, what Irina was alluding to, and Coach, you know this all too well, you'll take on another top 10 team in USC as you take on the Pac-12 over the weekend, as well as having to face Stanford, so it doesn't get any easier. But I just want to go back for a moment and talk about, you hit a big milestone, your 200th career win at Florida on Saturday last week. This is 201, and it comes up against the rivals, Florida State.
Yeah, it's pretty special. We've had just some amazing athletes come through our program, and just quality people, and I think that's what's so gratifying to me as a coach is just being able to work with these young men and help them to grow and develop through their years through college to help them to become successful after college. And, I give a lot of credit to their parents as well. So our staff's done a great job. We've had just amazing people that have supported our program through the years. And this is 11 years for me, and 11 special years here at the helm at Florida. So very, very, very thankful.
You can't see it, but we have a shot of Ben right now talking with some of the players. You can see how excited he is with this victory today. And I'll tell you what, 2023 early, it's a good time to be a Shelton. I mean, peaking early. Ben goes to the quarterfinals of a major, and your rebuilding year is in terrific form.
Yeah, well, we really say it's great to be a Florida Gator, and it really is. I know Ben feels that way. You're going to see that chomp a lot this year. And these guys on this team, I'm just so proud of them.
Well, congratulations, Coach. Thanks. Go join your players and revel in the victory over your rivals. Another terrific effort from your Florida Gators here tonight.
Congrats, Coach.
Thanks, I appreciate you guys.
So what a gauntlet it has been already for Florida. We know they played Texas early, and they continue to be coming back and back against the upper echelon. As mentioned, they'll take on this year, as it stands currently, 6 top 10 opponents. Their next will be the Southern California Trojans. That'll be this weekend. They will also face Stanford. Oh, they're merely ranked 16 in the world. Or 16 in the country, mind you.
Like Coach Shelton said, it doesn't really get any easier, and he's always talked about how they always play the tough schedules. They want those moments. They want those gritty matches. And so it's only going to get better. We're going to see a lot of great tennis from this Gator team.
Well, all we've been talking about really in the case of the Florida Gators is the youthful exuberance and the young, inexperienced team. But boy, did this guy look like a veteran out there when it mattered most. We have, of course, are talking about the man who clinched it, got it done, Jonah Braswell. Listen, you grew up in Florida, you play for Florida, you clinched the win for Florida over Florida State. How you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, it was my first clinch ever as a college player, you know. So definitely one of the best feelings I've ever had, you know. As a kid, I watched so much college tennis, and I'd always come up here every year to watch the Florida State matches on match day, you know. So ever since I was a little kid, like 6-7 years ago, I've just been dreaming to be out here, and so be able to have my my first match day here and to be able to clinch it, it was just an amazing experience. And I have to give pretty much all the credit to my team, you know. I think my team is what kept me going, you know. In the tough moments, they kept me fired up. And when they had tough moments, I kept them fired up. So I think that's why we pulled it out, because of the team.
Yeah, you're taking a page from Coach Brian Shelton's book where you're trying to give accolades outside of the scope, but the truth is you were the only one between the lines to really have to settle the outcome on this. And I wonder, going back to your thoughts of coming up here as a fan and watching, what was going through your mind? How were you able to quell the emotions of actually being in the heat of battle?
Yeah, you know, I think it helped me because, you know, I'd always come to these big matches, you know, ever since I was a kid. So, you know, I think I kind of knew what it was going to be like, and ever since I was a kid, you know, I've just been kind of visualizing myself out here. So I think when I actually got to the moment, I felt like I was almost like I was so ready for it, and I was so excited. So yeah, I think that's why I performed well.
Jonah, congratulations to be able to watch you play. And you talked about being composed, and it looked as though you were ready those match points. I'm curious, what are you going to take from today's match going into the weekend when you face off a couple of tough teams this weekend?
Yeah, you know, I think, so we're playing USC and Stanford, both from the Pac-12, both awesome teams. And so looking forward to just battling out with them. I think one thing I did well today that I can continue to do is when the moments get big, just to try and keep my composure and let my team get vocal and let them fire me up, because in those big moments, I think I perform better when I stay calm. So I think that's one thing I'm gonna use going forward. One
more question before we let you go join your teammates. And just thinking about it, you had probably the opportunity to pick of any schools that you wanted, certainly a lot of big programs, but you chose Florida. Was it because of moments like this, to play the upper echelon, to play against the big battles, and now you've picked up your first ever win over FSU?
Yeah, I think so. You know, just I've always wanted to be a Gator since I was a kid. I've had a good relationship with Coach Brian ever since I was a kid, you know, so I always wanted to play for him, and I'm just super proud to be a Florida Gator and be able to help contribute to this great program.
Well, Jonah, congratulations. Well done on your first clinch and really holding your nerve, ice in your veins down the stretch there as you produce the victory. Go join your teammates and have a good time celebrating tonight.
Okay, thank you so much.
You bet.
Right.
Jonah Braswell, the man who sealed the deal on what was a terrific contest and lived up to it. I mean, college match day, we got a match. The Sunshine State Showdown did not disappoint.
Absolutely not. From the very get-go, that doubles point was so crucial. Florida Gators being able to come out with that 1-0 lead going into the singles, but it was really a dogfight to the very end, Kevin, and it was just such a great environment for a tennis fan, for people to see that rivalry. It was fantastic tennis from the beginning to the end.
What a tough one for Florida State as they lose once again to their arch rivals, the Florida Gators. They've done well here in Orlando against the University of Florida, but come up short one more time. And it's such a tough one, especially in the position where they're not usually the favorite coming into the matchup, but they were this year, but not going to get done. Hey, remind you that in 2 weeks' time, Air Force versus Navy will be here for College Match Day. We hope you'll join us on February 18th for that contest. It's the military groups coming into town to do battle. This time they do so, though, with rackets.
Absolutely. It's going to be a fun environment. College Match Day. It just brings so many fans and young fans to see what college tennis is all about.
That's going to even double your excitement. It'll be men and women competing at the same time right here at the Collegiate Center. Do join us in 2 weeks' time for that. But today, it's all about supremacy here in Florida. And the Florida Gators once again prevail over Florida State as they produce a terrific result in the end, relying on some freshmen, some newbies coming in to get the job done. Well, that'll do it for us here in Lake Nona. We will send you home. Enjoy yourself, tennis fan. You had a good one to watch. We hope you can sort of shake this off because no doubt the tension was there throughout. A great day at the USTA National Campus and a terrific contest before you. But Florida, the Gators get it done. The Chomp was out loud and proud in the end as they topple the Seminoles of Florida State 4-2. So long for now from Lake Nona.